That's a man.
Peyton Manning stepping out.
It's the Zion Show.
Pass is caught by Jones. Expecting a crowd of close to capacity of 92,000 here on an absolutely gorgeous day for SEC football. Georgia won the toss. They defer, so Arkansas will receive and have a chance to display that talented freshman running back duo that has really caught the attention of all the coaches around the Southeastern Conference, and Felix Jones and Darren McFadden. Brandon Cantu kicks off. Darren McFadden takes a knee, so Arkansas will take over at the 20. As always, the man who makes this operation run, Dave Baker's on the sidelines again. Buzz, what do you got?
Thanks, Dave. You talked about those two running backs, Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. 125 yards, 102 yards, respectively, against Louisiana Monroe. The first time a freshman running back duo at Arkansas has ever rushed for 100 in a game. They've got speed, they've got size, they've got the ability to hit the hole, and they're going to have to do it in front of this hostile crowd today to give the Hogs a chance at pulling the upset.
We will see what is in store, and Robert Johnson does start the game under center for the Hogs. First handoff goes to McFadden off the right side. He gets out over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Let's take a look at this Arkansas lineup as we take a look at our Chevy starting lineups. Peyton Hillis will get a lot of work all over the field today, carrying the ball, kind of an H-back hybrid position. Marcus Monk leads his team in receptions. He will be a key factor if Arkansas can get inside the red zone. Up front, this offensive line, according to Houston Nutt, has really done everything he has asked. They've provided the holes for this Arkansas offense to rack up 263 yards a game on the ground. Loose football, who's got it? Georgia says they have the football inside the 15-yard line, but the official says it is third down.
Oh, that's amazing, Dave. When Robert Johnson turned around, bam, his running back runs right in. Look, he turns right around there. Look at his running back. Runs right smaking. Oh, he just didn't have his eyes open. And that's McFadden, one of the freshmen. Again, when Robert Johnson turns, look at this, runs right in him. You've got to see where your quarterback is. Got to have those eyes open.
Arkansas has had trouble holding on to the football this year. They have lost 7 fumbles, only 6 all of last season. And Houston Nutt, this is exactly what he told us, Dave. We cannot continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. It happened last week in the red zone against Auburn, and now they start the game backed up, and they do it again. Hard running out over the 20 to the 24-yard line goes McFadden, but that'll bring up a punting situation. Quickly take a look at this Georgia defense. Those guys that held Arkansas in the first series. Quentin Moses has just been a monster at the defensive end. Certainly people won't forget David Pollock, but he's doing his part to get his name well known. The linebacking core missing Tony Taylor right now. The middle linebacker out with an injury in the secondary. Probably the strength, I would say, of this defense.
Absolutely.
Held him on.
Jacob Skinner to punt. Good high hang time. Sends Flowers back to the 32-yard line. Makes a man miss. And brought down at the 33, a 42-yard punt and a 2-yard return. John Johnson, backup quarterback, makes the tackle on special teams. And Dave, here comes DJ Shockley, and last week had just a solid performance on the road in Nashville in only his 6th start, and made some huge plays, third downs that he turned into touchdowns.
Absolutely. I watched film of them yesterday and that game, and he moved out one time to his left, and I was talking with the coaches, and they just said he just darted that ball in there. Neil Callaway said it was the best throw he's seen in a long while. That's the kind of arm that Shockley has.
3 third downs he turned into touchdowns in Nashville last week. An impressive performance. First pass out of the gates, incomplete. Good coverage on Sean Bailey, and a flag comes in. Chris Houston can't believe it. We'll get an update on that flag in just a second. Our Chevy offensive lineups. Thomas Brown is one of a number of running backs that have really performed well. Danny Ware, Greg Lumpkin, Tyson Browning, all guys that get some work. And up front, this offensive line has been solid, and they are very experienced. Max Gene Gillies just one of those many talented offensive linemen. Terry Brown, our referee today, gives us the call.
And Dave, I think what happened on that play when Chris Houston came up, he had his left hand out in front of the ball. See him at the top of your screen. Watch his left hand, but watch his right hand come up in the back. You see it on the back? He reaches around the front with the left hand, but had that right hand on the back of the receiver.
I will say this, technically, you probably should throw a flag there, but...
Oh, it was a great play by a defensive back, I'll be honest with you.
Handoff goes to Brown, gets a couple on the play. Let's take a look at that Arkansas defense that's been much maligned this year, and they've got some injury problems of their own. Anthony Brown, a defensive end, not playing today with a bad ankle suffered against Auburn. Keith Jackson in the middle is having an unbelievable season with 34 tackles from his defensive tackle spot. Elijah Butu has been a one-man wrecking crew at only 5'9", 225 pounds, and that secondary has been a concern for Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator, all season. Pass is high, overthrown, looking for the tight end Leonard Pope. Pressure came from Chris Houston from his quarterback position. Coverage on the play. The Arkansas Razorbacks all over it. And we kind of expected to see a lot of tight end today.
Oh, absolutely. Tight ends for Georgia are very, very prominent in this offense. I was interested at that time to see what Arkansas was going to do. I want to see what their scheme is. Are they going to allow Shockley to stand back there and pass? Or are they going to bring heat? Are they going to spy a tackle on him to keep Shockley from running up the middle?
Georgia facing a third down.
Comes the heat.
Shockley gets the pass off. It is caught inside Arkansas territory by Sean Bailey. Michael Coe brings him down, but a first down after the pickup of 17.
When this has got to be a play that Mark Richt likes, because look at Shockley just stay in the pocket. A lot of heat around him. He has a tendency to come up. That time he had Anderson from the outside. Number 92 was pressuring him. He stayed in the pocket, had confidence in that offensive line.
Sean Bailey now with his 8th catch of the season. 1st and 10 from the 41. Movement, flags come down.
Thomas Brown, the ball carrier.
Thomas Brown picks up a hard 3 yards, but Georgia will perhaps take that penalty.
Yeah, you've got to go on movement. You can't go on sound. That time Shockley just kind of gave that little hard count, drew him offside. I can promise you the defensive coordinator for Arkansas, Reggie Herring, would not like that.
Offside, the initial indication against the Razorbacks.
Offside. On the defense, number 55. Film is 5 yards. 3 seconds left.
Let's check in with Dave Baker. Buzz?
Dave, that cadence thing isn't something that has just happened, and it's something they've worked on. As a matter of fact, against Tennessee, DJ Shockley was able to pull the Vols offsides 4 times. He's got a very distinctive cadence, and he's really worked at mixing it up.
Almost got Sims to jump again. Thomas Brown busted to the outside, breaks a tackle to the 20-yard line. First down, Georgia, gain of 15.
Dave, this play is designed to go to the odd, to the top left or right of your screen. And watch what Brown does. Stops. Lets everybody on Arkansas overruns it, and Brown just makes a tremendous cut back to the weak side. That's a strong side play designed to go off tackle. He makes the yardage himself.
First and 10, kind of the 21-yard line. Shockley. It's his tight end, Leonard Pope. Flag down at the goal line. Pope knocked out of bounds. They will spot it at the 10-yard line, just outside the 10. And apparently, the way Arkansas holding their heads, it will go against the Hogs.
You think it's past interference in the end zone, maybe a holding. Oh, face mask. That's interesting. On the goal line, face mask. When he jammed him, he must have got that hand up in his face. Have you ever seen tight ends play more a prominent role? As we watch this replay, maybe we may be able to see. Oh, there's the catch. Yeah, that was the catch. We didn't see the face mask on that play, but Dave, talking about those tight ends and the role they play, they are really dominant in this Georgia offense. They are there all the time.
Buzz has more on what happened there. Buzz?
They did was they flooded that side of the field, Dave. They had the short receiver Pope was the short receiver who caught the ball. Coe was in the end zone. He had the face mask as he was trying to jam Massaquoi. There was a lot of discussion around here, but Mark Richt finally got out and said, "Take the play."
And they did, so it's first down just outside the 10-yard line. They can actually pick up a first down, but I don't think they'd really want the first down here with 6 inches between the first down marker and the goal line. Shockley to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia. It goes to Brian McClendon, his second of the season. 10 yards on the play, and Georgia leads it 6-0.
Boy, just a great pass. I mean, the pass was right on the money. Right of your screen, you're going to see a drag to the corner of the end zone, and look at this pass. You don't even have to move. Look at that, just running right in stride. That's McClendon, who just runs right in stride. Kelly wasn't that far off in the coverage, but McClendon makes a beautiful catch.
The kick is good by Brandon Coutu, and Georgia strikes first. They lead 7-0 in Athens. Coutu to kick off. It is another excellent kick in the corner of the end zone. McFadden backs up out of the end zone. Arkansas will bring it out to the 20. That last drive was helped a little bit by a couple of Arkansas penalties on the defensive side of the football, but it amassed 66 yards, took exactly 2 minutes, and Georgia was almost flawless in that drive. And while we're on the subject of success, Arkansas needs it in a hurry.
Oh, do they ever. You know, you talk about important series. This is an important series. They got to get something out of it, something positive.
Here's McFadden with great speed. Gets the corner and picks up about 8 yards. He came into the game averaging almost 9 every time he touches the football on the ground. 8.9 per carry average. I mean, Dave, that's almost unheard of.
Well, you know what coaches will do? They'll say, prove to me that you can't run 8 or 9 yards a carry. Just keep on giving them the football. Let them have it. Houston Nutt, let him have 25, 30 carries. See if he can average that. That's what I'd do.
Well, sophomore Hillis lines up as the tailback. Now, number 22. On second down and short. Handoff goes to Peyton Hillis. Off right guard, got close to the 30-yard line. They will spot it over the 30, so that should be good enough for a Razorback first down. Brandon Miller makes the tackle for the Bulldogs.
Boy, they really like Peyton Hillis. He's one of those tough guys in there. Compact, about 240. Big man on big man. They pull the guard outside. Stephen Parker, 74. And all of a sudden, Hillis just puts that head down. He's always going to get you 1 or 2 or 3 yards. He's not going to break it for the long one. You've got McFadden and Jones to do that, and Darius Howard. But Hillis is tough in there. He doesn't fumble.
And he averages almost 5 yards a carry, which is nothing on this team.
I know, that's exactly right.
Jones in at tailback, but they play fake to Jones and swing it to Peyton Hillis. Hillis out to the 40-yard line, and that should be good enough for another Razorback first down. It'll be very close. He had to get to about the 40.5-yard line. He might be just shy of our purple line. Tim Jennings brings him down.
Real nice play fake action. Now he's got Hillis short there. He had a long receiver out deep. He picks up Hillis. Hillis is a short thing just to drop that ball off him. It's not forcing the ball in. And I think Robert Johnson's doing well right now.
Hillis, by the way, had 7 receptions against Auburn last weekend. On second and very short. Here's McFadden. Tripped up. He had a chance to maybe pick up a few more yards, but that will be all the Hogs want is the first down. They got it.
Yeah, you saw what I saw, Dave. When Darren McFadden, number 5, broke through there, he tripped. If he had gotten that foot up, man, it might have been a race. I wondered if he tripped over his own player. Might have been his offensive tackle.
Well, McFadden, coming out of high school, rushed for almost 2,000 yards, had 27 touchdowns as a high school senior, and he averaged 9.8 yards per carry as a high school senior. Not much of a drop-off here in his opening campaign at the collegiate level. Here's McFadden. He's trying to get the corner. George is on it. Trade battle along with Tim Jennings, showing that they've got the speed to compete with the youngster.
They really did. They closed in a hurry, but still McFadden still got a few yards. He's got that speed to get to the outside, and don't you know that Battle and Jennings both knew it.
This Georgia secondary, Dave, is very experienced. They go senior, senior, junior, senior across the back. Got a couple of guys that'll just pop you at any opportunity. And Greg Blue and Trey Battle and two corners that can cover you and lock you down.
Yeah, you said it's the strength of their defense, and they do. They set the tone.
Here's Felix Jones. And there's some of that popping we're talking about out of that Georgia secondary. Jones gets a few yards on the play. That'll bring up a 3rd down.
Dave, one thing, good decision here by Jones. Get to the outside, try to use that speed. But one thing I noticed yesterday in watching the film of Georgia is that when they hit you, they do not miss tackles. They missed a few tackles a week ago, but they do not let people run through them. They don't arm tackle. They're great on fundamentals and form.
3rd down and about 2. 7th play of this drive. Jones almost lost the football, but he keeps it and picks up the 1st down. Greg Blue makes the stop for Georgia, but that's another 1st down for the Hogs.
Good blocking up front, right in there. Get out there, lock them in there on the corner. Look at number 70 come around. That's Roper to center. Great roll block out in there. The 25, Jones, I thought he was switching arms to get that ball to the outside. I think you nailed it. I think it almost bobbled it.
1st and 10 line presented by Nexium, the purple pill.
Boy, if you're Arkansas, don't do anything different. You got a great drive going.
Here's Jones. Tackle made by Ray Gant, one of those guys that are trying to fill that 2 defensive tackle spots without Kedrick Golston and Gerald Anderson, and middle linebacker Tony Taylor. Obviously a huge concern for Georgia. The middle of that defense, all guys that are top-notch players out for this game.
Absolutely, and let me tell you what that really hurts. That hurts the continuity, because this defense is a bubble break defense. They send those 2 tackles in hard, try to bounce it to the outside.
Just like that, and Georgia read it well. Darius Swain hits Felix Jones. That might have lost a yard. By the way, folks, our time and score not with us right now, having some technical problems. We'll try to get that up as soon as we can.
Look at Swain. Get in the middle there. Darius Swain, 98. Bursts in the middle. That's the defense that Georgia likes. They like to blow it up in the middle, get real hard penetration, bounce it to the outside. And their defensive coordinator, Willie Martinez, told us, he said, Willie Martinez, I should say, he said, I want to break at the outside. I want them running east and west, not north and south.
9 plays in this drive, 8 have been on the ground. 3rd and 10 yards. Here's Hillis. Back to the middle of the field. He's got a long way to go. Bounces off some players and gets so close before a bunch of red jerseys bring him down, led by Tim Jennings. Good running by Peyton Hillis, but I don't know if he got it or not, but it'll be very, very close.
Well, we're looking right down that line, and I kept on thinking to myself, Hillis, get upfield. Watch this. He's going to cut back, makes a nice break here. Now he's running east and west. You've got to go the other way. You got to go north and south. He almost makes that line. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Arkansas in this situation. Just go for it.
That's what they're doing, David. It's going to be 4th and probably inside of a yard. This has been a lengthy drive that has chewed up 5 minutes off the clock. Play number 10. Handoff off the left side. He did not get it.
I think that was Verdun Wheeler who was in there, number 42. They stuck them in the hole, and I saw 2 Minter come in there, Dave.
McFadden gets the handoff, and the hole closed almost immediately.
Boy, it did.
The dog defense stands tall. We'll come back after a word from your local stations. Well, Dave, Houston Nutt goes for it on 4th and short, and I don't blame him. I mean, Chris Balsero, his kicker's longest is 42. A field goal's not going to probably determine this game. You got to put some touchdowns on the board, and your offense is your strength. Here's Shockley with a lot of time, looking to go deep. He does. Looking for Sean Bailey. It is incomplete inside the 10, but boy, did DJ Shockley heave that about 70 yards down the field. Michael Coe on the coverage.
You're exactly right. I was trying to quickly count how far he throws it. Nice play fake right there. That holds the backers. Now look at the time in here. Good time, and he just wings that thing out there. And I was watching Michael Coe, 19, fight for the inside position. This is great, just a defensive struggle.
Good
but
gosh, what an arm.
That is, you're right. I think that was about 70 yards in the air. I was quickly trying to do my math, Dave.
Don't ask me. Handoff goes to Danny Ware. Not much happening on that. And that shot down the field, Dave, is something coaches told us that they really wanted to try to get more involved in their offense. They felt that they need to hit some big plays. You know, they've been very successful 20 yards and in. They've had a lot of plays 25 yards or longer, but that's based on a guy making a broken tackle somewhere along the line. But they just want to really stretch the field a little bit more.
Absolutely, and Shockley's got the arm to do that, Dave. He's very, very accurate, and he's got that long-range arm. He can challenge a defense.
Third down.
Comes an audible on the line.
And a long 10 yards. Over the middle, pass is caught. It is complete. Muhammad Massaquoi, and they will spot it out over the 42, which should be good enough for the first down. A gain of 12. Michael Coe with the tackle.
Boy, and I am really impressed with the offensive line of Georgia. They're holding off that defense of Reggie Herring. They're holding them off out there. They had 10 men up on the line. That's why Shockley did that audible. He saw 10 men up.
First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Shockley now 4 out of 6 for 50 yards. Here comes that pressure. And down goes Shockley inside the 40. Actually, they will spot it at the 40-yard line. Michael Coe came in from his cornerback position. Pick up the sack for the Razorbacks. So that'll bring up a second down and 14. They've explained to us Reggie Herring's defensive system.
Well, he calls it a fire zone. That time you saw Coe come from the outside. That's because he had coverage deep. What they do is it's all solid. It looks like they're blitzing a lot, but they're really not. What they do is they fire off the line. When their man goes out, they pull off.
Inside handoff goes to Danny Ware. He gets a couple on the play. Arkansas
28.
front closes it down. Jamal Anderson, the sophomore out of Little Rock, Arkansas, picks up his second tackle of the afternoon.
And Dave, just to explain it one more step, what you do is if you're a backer and you start to come on the quarterback, if you've got a back in the backfield, that's your coverage. If he stays in and blocks, you can come on him. That's called fire zone. If he goes out for a pass, you peel off and cover him. Big down here.
Third down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Here, 2 out of 2 today on third downs.
You see all three of them in the middle there. They're all coming.
Shockley has time. Incomplete pass. Looking for McClendon, and that'll bring up a punting situation for Georgia. And a good defensive stand by the Razorbacks on that possession.
That was a solid defensive effort. They're going to get the ball back now. They need to do something on offense.
Look at our Aaron scoreboard. Early action out of the Big Ten. Northwestern on top of Michigan State early. And Clemson facing Temple at home this weekend. Just up the road from here. Ely Kelso back to punt for Georgia. Averaging just over 41 yards per kick. And this is a beautiful high spiral, fair catch, and dropped by Hillis. One of the best in the business, probably rank him up there among the best hands in the SEC, but that one got away from him. A 53-yard kick, no return on the play. Georgia leads 7-0 over Arkansas, 2:01 to go in the first quarter from Sanford Stadium. There's Marcus Monk, who leads this team in reception, set a freshman record last year with 37 catches. And Dave, big play guy, but this running attack has really limited his ability to be a big play factor as Arkansas goes to the ground one more time. McFadden gets the carry. He's getting a little frustrated. He's still a big play weapon you got to go to every now and then.
Absolutely. I mean, he goes up for the ball. He catches it in the crowd. He's got great hands. We talked about his basketball skills. Get him the ball a little bit.
McFadden gets the carry. Gets to about the 12-yard line, brought down by Greg Blue, the big hitter from his free safety position.
And Dave, I have to tell you, I was watching Monk that time coming out. He came off the bill. He did a little crossing pattern at about 15 yards. He was against Tim Jennings. Monk is 6'5". Tim Jennings is 5'8". You think he wouldn't catch it if you throw it to him? Try him.
There is Marcus Monk. They may go to him here on 3rd down and 5. They'll go to the tight end. Mason Templeton makes the catch and gets the 1st down.
You know what's interesting about that call is that Houston Nutt told us that they wanted to go back. They wanted to take the pressure off of Robert Johnson. This is a very safe play. Rolls out, throw to your short receiver. Don't throw it downfield into coverage. Move the chains, pick up a 1st down. That's what coaches mean when they say go back to the basics, the things you do well.
3rd catch of the year for Templeton, the sophomore, out of Burnett, Texas. Houston Nutt's offense hasn't been the problem this year.
No, their defense. Their defense allowing, what, 4.8 yards a rush? Can't do that.
McFadden to the corner. Gets about 6 on the play. Danny Verdun-Wheeler makes the tackle. Verdun-Wheeler, the junior out of Thompson, Georgia. There's Danny Nutt in charge of the running backs, and he's got a good crop of guys that can do a lot of different things for him.
Wow, he's got 2 freshmen starting up there in McFadden and Jones, and then he's got Darius Howard, who's a solid senior. On the other side, you talk about Hillis there.
Houston Nutt and his brother Danny get to spend a lot of time together. Hope they were friendly brothers growing up. Here's McFadden. Breaks 1 tackle, gets stood up at the 29, and I don't even really have to tell you who that was. If you follow SEC football, that is Greg Blue with another big hit. You know, there are some big hitters that have been through Georgia lately, but Blue has to rank among the best.
Number 17, he runs through you. I asked Willie Martinez, I said, who's he remind you of? He said, you played with him, Jack Tatum. He said he's a run-through smash mouth. Oh, man, you love him.
Of course, Thomas Davis, who left after his junior season, which was a year ago. Top draft pick up the road with the Carolina Panthers now, was a big hitter, and he and Davis, Greg Blue and Thomas Davis, still good friends, and they still compare notes on who has the better hit. That is the end of the 1st quarter. Arkansas chewed up 10 minutes of the clock. They trail by 7 on the scoreboard, however. We will come back. It's homecoming in Athens. Look at our Gatorade 1st quarter statistics. Rushing yards, Arkansas has the advantage, Dave, but you can throw all those numbers out right now. The best news for Arkansas is 10 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock. And they've got another decent drive going. 6th play of this one. The last one went 11 plays, but they were stopped on downs at the 31 of Georgia.
Got to move those chains. Just keep on moving those chains.
McFadden hit behind the line and dropped for a 4-yard loss by DeMario Minner, the senior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. And that was a pretty solid defensive play. And guess who we found on the sideline? Mr. Thomas Davis down alongside with Buzz Baker.
How you liking your rookie season?
I'm enjoying it. You know, it's great to get the opportunity to get in the game when I do, and just try to go out and make the most of my playing time.
Now, Coach Martinez said that he had you on speakerphone and said, hey, Thomas, the biggest hitter in Georgia football just walked into my office, and you said I'm not there, but he was talking about Blue.
Oh, by far. I let him know I wasn't there. You know, I respect Blue as a player. You know, he's a great player. I mean, he's been doing great things here, and just like I expected him to. You know, I keep the pressure on Blue. So if I didn't apply that pressure to him, you know, I don't know what he would do.
Blue out there making tackles. You know, big guys like you and David Pollock leaving last season. Do you think a lot of people underestimated the guys on defense that were coming back?
Yeah, I knew that they were going to estimate, but just because, you know, you lost a guy like a David Pollock or Odell Thurman, you know, I knew people were going to underestimate us, but they just don't know. Like, we have guys here waiting, you know, and just waiting on their opportunity, and they're making the most of it.
Absolutely. So are you, Thomas. Best of luck. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
All right, back up to you, Dave.
He was fun to watch. Thanks, Buzz. 3rd down and very long. They swing it to Hillis. Back over the middle again. He needs to break a lot more than 2 or 3 tackles to pick up the first down. He can't do it, and that'll bring up a 4th down and 12. You know, Dave, this defense, I can't see much of a difference in this Georgia defense from a year ago. You look at the numbers, statistically, they're even a little bit better in terms of point production. And there's Willie Martinez talking to Danny Verdun-Wheeler. Not happy about something, but, I mean, it really is just the flow of success.
And Dave, when you take 3 players out, 3 key players out of the middle of that
and your defensive coordinator.
Exactly, and you keep up that stats, that's the sign of a great defense.
This is a bomb by Skinner. Thomas Flowers retreats back to the 15. Flowers out over the 30, a nice return. Georgia's return game this year in the punt department's been pretty solid. Like Thomas Flowers, a 57-yard kick, a 15-yard return. Thomas Brown in at running back. He now splits in motion to the far side. Over the middle, Massaquoi with the first down reception over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Materrell Richardson brings him down, a gain of 13.
Not a whole lot of pressure. He gets hit late, but you see how stands up high in the pocket. Look at that. Nice strike right in there. Just throws it, just a dart in there to Massaquoi. And I'll tell you right now, DJ Shockley is on. When you're throwing that ball, you're not throwing it too high, but you're allowing that receiver to stretch. Coming out the ball, stretch, reach for the ball. Perfect.
This time Thomas Brown goes in motion. They will swing it to McClendon. And he will pick up close to a first down. Perhaps that will be good enough for a first down.
Well, I watched Olajibutu that time on the blitz. He was coming after him, but he gets rid of the ball so quickly. You see how quickly Shockley gets rid of the ball? Boom, he throws it out. And when you catch the ball in stride like that, you're able to look quickly because you get the ball early. You can look down, pick up blocks, and make movement.
DJ Shockley now 6 out of 9 for 74 yards. Shockley keeps it on a little option play with his fullback and loses 2 or 3 yards. Big Keith Jackson, the 6', 285-pounder out of Little Rock, makes the stop. Keith Jackson, Dave, was a defensive tackle. 34 stops coming into this game. A different scenario, a different defensive philosophy in terms of your defensive tackles between these two schools.
Absolutely, Keith Jackson, good movement to the ball. They do a hit and react to the block. Reggie Herring's defenses come off the ball, hit into him, engage him, and then slide to the ball. So you got your defensive tackles moving along the ball, not making as much penetration, but moving to the tackles.
Whereas Willie Martinez of Georgia likes his safeties. His defense is safety tackle driven, if you will.
Absolutely, absolutely. They played real close up in there.
Shockley gets popped. Pass is incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 14. So some pressure coming from Arkansas has been effective the last couple of plays.
Yeah, they came after him that time. Anderson, 92, was really the one up in the face of Shockley. Got off the ball well, but Shockley's just staying in that pocket. They really like the way he doesn't move around. In talking with their coaches, they said one thing that Neil Callaway said, the offensive coordinator said, is that Shockley has a tendency to come up in the pocket too much. Stay back. Rely on that offensive line making that pocket and holding it.
3rd and long, Georgia will have to throw it. But they can't do it. Pressure came. Good defensive stand again by Arkansas. Boy, this is a lot like what we saw when Arkansas took on Alabama a few weeks ago, a game we had for you right here on JP.
Well, one thing that Arkansas is doing in their defensive plan is that they are, and Shockley gets up limping, Dave. But what they're doing is they're mirroring Shockley. They're not allowing him. That time was Marcus Harrison, 55. Stay in front of the quarterback. When he darts up here, watch 55 come in from your left. There he is. He's just mirroring the quarterback.
Somebody grabbed him low, and then somebody hit him high, and looked like he might have twisted one of those ankle or knees. We'll get an update from Dave Baker, who's on the sidelines in a moment.
Well, that'll draw a lot of attention.
Ely Kelso to punt it away. It hits at the 6 and is down on the spot. Great job by Georgia special teams.
But a very concerned Georgia Bulldogs sideline right now. There has been a big crowd around DJ Shockley. Dave Neal on that last play, right at the end of the play, he got rolled up at the end. You couldn't see it from up top, but I was down more toward the end zone. The pain was immediate because the ball came out right when he hit the ground. He immediately started writhing around. Trainer Ron Corson and the orthopedic staff are taking a look at him, and it looks like now that they're going to take DJ Shockley toward the locker room, and that normally means that they'll take an x-ray to take a look. But it's an injury to the right knee. You can see him walking off toward the locker room, and as soon as we have more information, we will certainly get it to you.
Handoff goes to McFadden. Georgia's defense swarms again. Got back to the original line of scrimmage, and there goes DJ Shockley. And that means that what Georgia will do is go with Joe Tereshinski, the junior out of right here in Athens, Georgia. And Shockley, I mean, if this is a long-term injury, devastating blow because of the way that this offensive machine had been working under DJ, the fifth-year senior who getting his shot and knew what this whole season was all about. I mean, leading the league in numerous categories, including yards per game and rushing yards per game for quarterbacks, passing efficiency. Handoff goes to McFadden. He gets out over the 10-yard line. And now you go to Joe Tereshinski, who's been used sparingly. Excuse me, Felix Jones on that carry. But it'll be an interesting scenario to see how this Georgia offense performs in a close ball game with a young man that just hasn't played a whole lot at quarterback.
Well, you're right there. The only thing I can tell you about an injury, Dave, and I watched Shockley, he walked off. That was a good sign. He walked off. He limped, but he walked off. He was putting weight on it. So this is maybe just precautionary. Take him in there, do a thorough examination of him.
3rd down and 7 for the Hogs. They line up in the I. Hillis at fullback. Johnson to throw, picked off. What an interception! Tim Jennings skied and at the perfect time grabbed the football out of midair. His 2nd interception of the season. And how about for Georgia? It's their 11th on the year.
Watch number 23 left of your screen. The ball is intended deep here. Look at him go up right there. You talk about vertical leap. He just goes up. And this is not a bad read by Robert Johnson, but look at Jennings. He just, and you talk about snatching the ball out of the air. He just snatched the ball out of the air.
6th interception of the year for Robert Johnson. And now Joe Tereshinski comes in at quarterback, and he hands it off to his tailback, Thomas Brown, and he'll take it to the 20-yard line. So Joe Tereshinski in at quarterback. We showed you his numbers moments ago. 8 out of 14, 116 yards. Has yet to throw an interception or a touchdown this year. But he's a young man that has really kind of just bounced around here for a little bit. Played sparingly at quarterback in his career. He's been a vital part of the special teams in his first couple of seasons here. He's even played wide receiver on the scout team. And now he's running the show for Georgia's offense.
Well, the one thing you want to do here if you're a new quarterback, do a couple handoffs. Get in that rhythm, get in the snap. Just allow your running backs just to take over. If you've got to pass, at least pass on 3rd down if you have to. But take a few snaps, get your legs underneath you, look over and calm down.
Look at the red zone numbers for the Georgia Bulldogs, and they have not produced as many touchdowns as Mark Richt would have liked, just a little bit over 50%. And that's a look at the red zone powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. Tereshinski down to the 1-yard line goes Muhammad Massaquoi, and that's a 1st down and goal after the 16-yard pickup.
Boy, you talk about something that will build your confidence. This is a well-thrown ball by Tereshinski. Looking to the end zone. It's a look back where the receiver looks back. That is a perfect pass. Richardson on the coverage. He just doesn't get there. You see the receiver looking back to the quarterback. The defender, all he can do is run and look at the receiver. Nice pass, good completion.
And Massaquoi a little upset that he didn't get the touchdown.
Yeah.
Just a true freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Nothing fancy here, just blow it in.
Sutherland, the fullback. Did he get in? Yes, he did. The 3rd straight game that the fullback, Brandon Sutherland, has scored a touchdown. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the season, and Georgia leads by 13.
That was a good series right there, especially for Tereshinski. Get your legs underneath you. Good plow right in here. Look at the big guys in there just driving them off the ball. Got underneath. Look at, you see the white shirt starting to come up? They got underneath there. They drove them off the ball. You know where I would go? I'd go right where Georgia went. behind Gillis, 74. He's the strong man up front.
The two's point after is up and good. The two's kickoffs today have been solid. This one, though, is returnable by McFadden. And he is popped at the 15.
Now, if you're Robert Johnson, shake it off. Do something right.
Handoff goes to Felix Jones, the true freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, brought down by Jeff Owens, another true freshman.
And Dave, a lot of times talking about Robert Johnson, 18, the quarterback, a lot of times when you're under pressure all week and you have a mistake in a game, a lot of times you can take a lot of pressure on yourself. I'm sure when he got over the sideline, they said, hey, listen, Jennings made a great catch on the play. Don't worry, shake it off. Get right back into your flow. Do what they've practiced all week long.
Here's Felix Jones. Uses a stiff arm but has nowhere to go. I think he was fortunate to get it to the 20-yard line and gain a yard. Greg Blue comes in for his 6th stop already. That initial pressure came from the end, Charles Johnson.
Dave, one of the things that Georgia does so well is they run to the football. Willie Martinez, the defense coordinator, said, hey, we've got red shirts. We've got to run to the ball. Nobody gets past. In other words, if you're running next to a defensive lineman, he better not pass you getting to the ball. That's called a loaf. They don't allow anything. I mean, they run.
You said we've got red shirts. What do the red shirts have to do with it?
Yeah, exactly right. Up downs, up downs. Oh, man.
Peyton Hillis makes a man miss. First down, Arkansas, out to the 30-yard line. Actually, they'll spot it inside the 30 at about the 29, a 10-yard pickup. They needed 5. That is a huge first down for Arkansas.
Boy, and Jarvis Jackson, 45, is there on Hillis. He just misses a tackle. Look right there. See, he overruns it. Hillis stopped and came back underneath him. Got a first down. They moved the chains. They've got to keep it going. That's something you don't see often, missed tackles, overrun.
So a first down and 10 for Arkansas. McFadden in at tailback. He will get the handoff, and he has a hole, folks. Look at the young man go. He's to the 20. Nobody in the building will catch him. 70 yards on the touchdown. That is a true freshman, averaging 9 yards a rush.
Boy, he exploded through the hole. I watched the block. Stephen Parker, look right there. You see 74, you really couldn't see him really well, but the offside guard pulled around, and boy, when McFadden got the ball, he exploded through the hole. Never had to slow down. But I'll tell you this, Stephen Parker's block was what started the whole thing.
7 touchdowns on the year for the youngster McFadden, who now has gone over 100 yards. Balsero's point after is up and good. And for McFadden, 14 rushes, 110 yards, and the Hogs are back in it. You just don't see plays like this from freshmen very often, Dave, but it was impressive.
Absolutely. Stephen Parker comes down here. He's going to block. What you're going to see is you're going to see the middle linebacker, Jackson, come up here. You take the ball, you come in there and watch the play. Right here. Now you're going to see the block right there. Look at that block right there. Blue overruns it, and I mean, we're talking about off to the races. And as you said earlier, Dave, nobody's going to catch him.
There's nobody in this building. There are 90,000 people in here that could have run that young man down, including you.
Hey, if I didn't catch him on the line, he was gone. What a play, though. Just like you draw it up on the chalkboard.
Tyson Browning takes it 2 yards deep in the end zone, out to the 18-yard line. It's a 7-point game here in Athens. 4:49 to go in the second quarter. Time for our Chick-fil-A nugget of the game, and a look at the undefeated teams in Division I football. And right now there are 7 such teams. And when it all shakes out, there won't be many left because Texas Tech and Texas are playing today. Southern Cal plays UCLA at the end of the year. Virginia Tech has a chance. They've got Miami, and of course Virginia still left to play. Georgia and Alabama, if they continue to run the tables, one of those teams will have to suffer a loss because they'll meet in the championship game.
Exactly.
So there is an outside chance that Georgia could be left out or Alabama could be left out, but with so much football left, you really can't start playing that game just yet. Tereshinski to throw to his tight end. A beautiful pass over the 35 to Leonard Pope. And Tereshinski, in replacement of DJ Shockley, has thrown for 16-yard completion and now a 17-yard completion.
Boy, I like the poise in the pocket. Stay there. Work on those offensive linemen. Let them give you room. And then look for the big guy. Pope is 6'7". He's easy to pick up on a crossing pattern. He goes up and gets the ball. And that's why the two tight ends on Georgia play such a prominent role.
That handoff goes to Craig Lumpkin, the sophomore out of Lithonia, Georgia. He picks up 5 hard yards. Lumpkin 22 carries this year, averaging 4.5 per carry. And, you know, we talk about Georgia not having a lot of 100-yard rushing games over the past few years. And really, you go back to last year and this year, you've got so many guys carrying the football.
Exactly.
We brought up to Mark Richt, and he says, you know, if we wanted a 100-yard rusher every game, we could do it because we got guys capable of that.
And they actually count the number of carries and plays that each player is in. Whoa!
Right now, Tereshinski's not counting anything but stars as he gets rocked.
Wow.
Desmond Sims came flying in, Dave, and just lit up Tereshinski.
Top of the screen. Look, nobody touches him. Nobody touched Sims on that play. Again, watch Sims. Look at this. Nobody touches him. I wonder if because he wears number 23. But Sims just leveled Tereshinski right in the chest. How in the world they got that ball back?
Well, Desmond Sims, a former linebacker that they moved down to defensive end, thought that they could use his speed to their advantage. Not a big guy at 230 pounds. And you saw some of the reasons why he was placed at the defensive end. But Tereshinski bounces right back up. Pass incomplete, looking for Massaquoi. It is incomplete. Coverage by Chris Houston. And that'll bring up a 4th down punting situation for the Bulldogs.
Boy, and this is an absolute great stand for Arkansas. Their offense just got them a score, got them back in here. They weren't doing anything. Their defense all of a sudden stands up. They want to get the ball back. It's a game of momentum, and momentum has switched back to Arkansas. Now they're going to get the ball again.
With 3:03 to go here in the second quarter. And they may actually get the football outside the 20-yard line for the first time today. Maybe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're trying to convince me? Georgia's done a great job in getting it inside the 20.
Hillis will have a chance to return it. He takes it at the 15. Hillis to the 30-yard line, and Arkansas will have their best field position of the afternoon. Robert Johnson under center for this Arkansas offense. He's gone the entire distance so far. And McFadden stood up at the line of scrimmage by Brandon Miller. This time they said, no, sir, young man.
Boy, and Brandon Miller just stuffed him in the hole. You talk about coming off the ball. This is the way you tackle. You hit him in the hole and wrap him up. Look at this. Bend him over backwards. Ooh. Man. 12 saying, hey, Blue gets all the credit back there. And, you know, we talked about Davis, all these other guys. He said, let me have a few shots. And Brandon Miller, 5 tackles already today, Dave.
Miller, one of the guys that inserted into the starting lineup with Tony Taylor out with the injury. The middle linebacker, Jarvis Jackson, moves over to the middle. As Arkansas takes a timeout with 2:13 to go on a 2nd down and 11. We'll return after these messages from the University of Arkansas and Georgia.
Think about what they have to know versus what we have to know.
This is the first time.
Student psychology, the method of research.
The University of Arkansas is a nationally competitive, student-centered research university serving Arkansas and the world.
This hallowed arch has stood for 220 years as the archway to excellence. 220 years of educational experience, creating graduates who pass their experiences of excellence on to countless others across the planet. This is the mission of the University of Georgia.
A beautiful day. Temperatures in the mid-70s here in Athens, Georgia, the Classic City. We've got a pretty good Classic SEC battle going on. 2:13 to go before halftime. It's 14-7. Dogs out in front, but it has not been all fun and games for the Bulldogs, especially since DJ Shockley is in that locker room being attended to after hurting his left knee early here in the second quarter. Joe Tereshinski has come on, produced one touchdown, but now the Arkansas offense trying to create some sparks here right before intermission, looking at a 2nd down and 11. Handoff goes to McFadden. He's out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Danny Verdun-Wheeler with his 5th stop of the afternoon. Big 3rd down for Arkansas. Johnson throws to Hillis. Hillis trying to break a couple of more tackles. Out to the 36-yard line. That'll bring up a 4th down and about 4. Paul Oliver hanging on. Will get credit for the tackle for the Bulldogs. So Arkansas will punt it away with 1:14. Clock continues to tick. And I think in this situation, Mark Richt would just as soon get to the locker room and reassess his situation as opposed to burning some timeouts.
Exactly. I think Mark Richt, and I think Houston Nutt on the other sideline is saying, hey, let that clock tick down. We'll go in 14-7 down, be in this football game at halftime. A lot of people didn't give them a chance. So both teams using that strategy of letting the clock run down.
Skinner and his 2 kicks averaging almost 50 yards. It's an end-over-end wobbly kick, very returnable. Thomas Flowers dancing around out over the 30 to the 35-yard line, and the clock stops with 29 seconds to go. 42-yard punt.
Just told that DJ Shockley will not be back in this football game. He is out for the game, still back in the locker room, and that puts a pressure solely on the shoulders of Joe Tereshinski. 3rd-generation guy, as you mentioned, Dave, and his dad, who was a player here, is now the strength and conditioning coach, and he's the video coordinator. He was a strength and conditioning coach. You think he's not hanging on to this video forever, do you?
Well, Buzz, I saw him up here with some of the video folks from Georgia moments ago, and I haven't seen him in the last 5 minutes. Things dramatically change for Mr. Tereshinski. Andy Ware gets the carry, picks up a couple as Elijah Budu picks up his 1st tackle today. That is news in itself. The young man came in with 79 stops. Well, DJ Shockley got rolling early for this Bulldog offense. He got hit a few times in this game by this Arkansas defense. And this is the injury. Before he went down with that injury, he was 6 out of 10 for 74 yards.
You saw Anderson and Harrison come in there. Clean tackle, Dave. What they did is he twisted that knee when he went down. You saw him twist around onto his stomach. He did walk off. That was a good sign. A lot of pressure on that young man, Tereshinski, 13. But I think he's done a good job. I think he came in, took a deep breath, threw a couple passes, got some results.
Well, Georgia took a timeout.
We may see that long field goal, except the wind is blowing that direction towards Georgia.
Well, I will say this about Brandon Coutu. He does have a leg, a 58-yarder, which is the longest at Georgia without a tee. And I spent some time before the game today with the guy who has the longest kick, 60 yards, Kevin Butler, a Georgia great, who boomed one from 60 yards out. However, he had the tee. He had the tee back in the day. And also, you know, I was looking at some of that video. You look how wide the uprights are back in the early 80s, early 90s, before they decided to narrow them in. Those things were wide in the college football game, and they have narrowed up quite a bit for these guys. So certainly accuracy much more important in today's game.
Well, where they're from right there, they look like toothpicks down the end down there. They look like they're right next to each other.
Tereshinski going deep. As a man, it's caught at the 15. Sean Bailey into double coverage. And this is a scenario that has happened to Arkansas's defense time and time again this year. 43 yards on the completion, but they completed it in double coverage.
And I want to tell you, Tereshinski did a great job moving around the pocket. He lays it out there, just a perfectly thrown ball to Bailey. But how about Tereshinski moving around the pocket? He's got pressure from his right, and he just throws about a 40-yard strike.
That's why they called the timeout, I guess, a minute ago.
Yeah.
But now they're definitely into field goal territory with 9 seconds to go. And, just to continue our story about Kevin Butler, this was the longest field goal in Georgia history. There it is. As a matter of fact, it was just beyond the 50-yard line. Add the 10, and it is 60-yarder. And we were talking, asked Kevin Butler. I was a freshman at Florida State when he was still kicking here as a senior at Georgia. They played Florida State in the Citrus Bowl in a tie ball game, and with no time left, Vince Dooley sent Kevin Butler onto the field and attempted a 72-yard field goal attempt. And I'm telling you, Dave, and anybody, there are a couple people who talked about it today, that missed by about a yard from 72 yards out. He thought it was good when I asked him. That was way back in 1984. And Buzz had a chance to talk to Brandon Coutu, the Georgia kicker, earlier. Let's check in with Buzz.
Yeah, interesting conversation, Dave. He, like you, is a big golfer, and he compares to hitting the football off the ground to hitting a golf ball. I was talking to him before the game and asked him with the wind how far he thought his range was today. That's the way Mark Richt gauges it. He said he thought, not at this end of the field, but coming the other way, he could connect from 65 if he needed to today. This kid has got a big-time leg. He's got a lot of confidence, and this coaching staff has got a lot of confidence in him.
And Buzz, funny as you were talking, that everybody's lined up for the field goal, and Coutu's over there still practicing. This from 32 as he runs out on the field.
1001. That kick's gone.
It is up, and it is plenty good. The 32-yarder is good from Brandon Coutu, who leads the SEC in scoring and has now made 8 consecutive field goals and is now 14 out of 17 on the season. So with 3 seconds to go, Georgia's lead is now 10. Really didn't think Georgia was going to go deep. They called the timeout, thought maybe they'd just run it out, but Tereshinski with a nice strike to Sean Bailey that sets up the field goal.
Yeah, Dave, I thought they were going to try to get in field goal range and give him a shot at a long one, but I never thought that I would see Tereshinski, though, go that deep to Bailey. That just really surprised. I think it caught Arkansas by surprise.
On the flip side, Reggie Herring, we talked to him and we felt the pain in his voice about what has happened to this defense. And, he said it's, we always have safety help somewhere. Well, he had safety help on that pass play, but yet Georgia's still able to complete it. And that's the kind of thing that is so frustrating to him.
Absolutely.
Guys just aren't making the plays. Georgia's problem, one of their problems this year is, if there is a problem when you're 6-0 and ranked 4th, is red zone. They were at 50% touchdowns versus possessions in the red zone, and today they've been pretty successful at 66%, 2 out of 3 touchdowns to opportunities, and that's an area of concern for him. He says, we're just kicking too many field goals in the red zone. And those red zone powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience.
Well, when Arkansas had that ball on that last drive and ended up punting it, I thought they gave Georgia too much time. They didn't take enough time. If you're not going to go long for it, run out the clock. But they gave them a lot of time on the clock when they gave them that ball on that punt. Enough time to get a field goal. That really hurt Arkansas.
Hillis on the kickoff return this time around, and that'll be the last play of the first half. Interesting scenarios evolving. DJ Shockley, the SEC leader in passing efficiency, yards per game, and touchdowns, is out with an injury. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Mark, you got points on the board. You got the lead in this game, but DJ goes to the locker room. How serious is he injured?
I don't think he'll play the rest of the day, that's for sure. And we'll just see about the rest of the time after that. But right now, he won't play in the second half.
And you came in, Joe came in, you didn't change the offense at all, and he delivered on some big plays for you.
He did. Joe did a nice job. I kind of hung him out to dry on the one that he got drilled on. I put a free release protection on there on a guy who hadn't played a lot. Wasn't very smart. It's my fault.
He released, but still 17-7. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
Second and goal. Toss sweep McFadden, wide side of the field. Touchdown Arkansas. And the true freshman is having a career day. On homecoming here in Athens, Georgia, 17-7 is our score. Let's go down on the field and check in with Dave Baker.
Houston, big half for your club defensively, I thought.
Thought they did a great job. I thought we kept the ball 18-something minutes. You'd like to just a few more first downs, some more points. You're right there hanging in. Hey, let's finish.
Absolutely, but the way Darren's going and those running backs are going, this is what you talked about the other day, doing what you do best.
This is what we do best. I'd love to throw the ball up and down the field, and hopefully we're going to be able to get to that, but right now, this is what we do best.
Thanks, Houston. We appreciate it. Best of luck.
And there is Larry Munson, the longtime voice of the Georgia Bulldogs, celebrating his 40th season as the voice of Georgia. Recently celebrated another birthday. Started here in 1966. Just keeps working.
That was a great year. I was in college, I remember. Gosh, what a legend he is.
Georgia Bulldogs will return the second half kick, leading by 10. Balsero will kick it away. It'll roll through the end zone. And there's a look at Larry Munson when he took over as the voice of the Bulldogs. We've got some calls 40 years later.
Johnson fakes. She's running out to the right, looking, going to fire a pass. Intercepted on the 22, a high leap. Going to throw it in the corner. And it is close to the goal line, out of bounds on about the 2-foot line of Mexico. Try to run power, and Sutherland's banged up in there, and he got in there. Touchdown. He's going to throw it long, and he's got a receiver down there, and it is complete and out of bounds, I think, on the 13 or 14.
We're back to live action, and the Bulldogs have fumbled it, and Arkansas has it. The Razorbacks come out of the locker room, and Jamal Anderson appears to have come up with the fumble for the Hawks.
Wow.
The handoff goes to Thomas Brown, and he just never had control of it.
Yeah, that ball was just laying on the ground in front of him. Wondered when he got bent back. Watch him get bent back. Oh, he never got the handoff. It bounced off his belly. Heads up play by Anderson to come across and get it, Dave. Never put the ball in the old breadbasket, so to speak.
Talk about a fortunate bounce for the Razorbacks. They got it now. Inside the red zone at the 17. McFadden gets the handoff. Flag down in the middle of that line of scrimmage. Brandon Miller will get credit for the tackle. And you know, Arkansas created some early turnovers against Auburn last week and could not take advantage of it. It came back to bite them on the backside when it was all said and done. Here's Terry Brown.
On the offense, number 63. Penalty 10 yards. Replay first down.
And that's the kind of thing that you just can't have when you're climbing uphill.
Absolutely. You cannot have it. You've got the ball inside the 20-yard line. Can't allow that.
Well, Dave Baker is a busy man at halftime, and for the latest, he's got an update on DJ Shockley.
Not the kind of thing that Georgia fans wanted to see, Dave. DJ Shockley comes out of the locker room on crutches. He's got a big brace on his left knee, not able to put any weight on that left knee. Trainer Ron Carson says he's out for the game, but you got to wonder what the prognosis is for the future when you see him on crutches and see how gingerly he's walking.
That is a definite big concern. Another concern is stopping Arkansas right now, and that's what Georgia does. Will Thompson, the senior out of Warner Robins, Georgia, from his defensive end position, comes up with the sack, or they'll just call that a tackle for a loss.
Boy, great down the line play. I thought he was going to throw to Wes Murphy. Wes Murphy, the tight end, had gone across. He even waved to him. You can't outrun these guys. They're big, fast linemen and linebackers. Thompson runs them down.
They will call it a sack, his second of the year.
Yeah, anything behind that line of scrimmage, he dropped them for about a yard or two loss, so that's a sack. Great play by Thompson. Run to the football. We talked about.
Sometimes they don't give him a sack.
Well,
we've been over that.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes it should be, and they don't.
Player.
I know. They're all sacks.
They're all sacks to me.
Felix Jones. Felix strings it out, gets it back inside the 30. This ball, the possession started at the 17-yard line, and They backed it all the way up to the 34.
Boy, to get an opportunity like that, you've got first down to 17. You cannot have holding on the backside of a play. Now, Robert Johnson needs to come out here and have a play where he finds somebody downfield. 12 to 15 yards. They just signaled it in. He's looking at his hit chart. Now, don't throw into a crowd if you're Arkansas. If you're Georgia, react, read the quarterback's eyes.
Well, you also got to think about a field goal. You want to get something out of this, and they need to move it up a little bit, I think, for Chris Balsero. But they will throw it. Little screen pass, safe play, and there is some running room. Gets a couple of blocks. Jones down to about the original line of scrimmage at the 17-yard line. Paul Oliver makes the stop, but the good news for Arkansas is it does bring them closer to Balsero's range. His career long is 42.
Well, that was going to be a 50-yard field goal if they don't throw that little screen. They did exactly what they needed, Dave. They didn't try to go for the first down, tried to pick up yardage, get in that field goal range. They did a good job.
It'll be a 33-yard field goal for Balsero, who was 6 out of 8 this year. He is 17 out of 21 in his career inside of 40 yards. And that is perfect. So almost a free 3 for the Hogs. Closes the deficit to 7 points with 12:03 to go in the third quarter.
Dave Baker back here with you on the sidelines at Sanford Stadium, Georgia, on top of Arkansas. 17-10 continues to be a costly afternoon for the Bulldogs. Of course, DJ Shockley on crutches on the sideline with that knee injury. Martrez Milner, part of that great 1-2 tight end tandem. He has got a sprained right shoulder. He is done for the day as well. C.J. Bird, a freshman Rover, who is also a big play guy on special teams for the Dogs. He's out with a concussion, Dave Neal.
Good gracious.
That just adds to the length of that list.
Already without Golston, Anderson, Tony Taylor today on the defensive side of the ball. That is some concerns. And, you know, we were talking about the future, but right now, Georgia's got to find a way to strap it on a little bit tighter because they're in it for a battle right here.
Well, you saw the enthusiasm that Houston Nutt came out of the end zone, out of the locker room with. This is where we play our best. And they did that first series.
Kick is returnable. Goes to Tyson Browning. Browning to the 20. Browning to the 30. Tyson Browning trying to find some room to midfield, and he's brought down there. Tyson Browning dragged down by Weston Dacus, the middle linebacker. A 52-yard return, and that is probably exactly what the doctor ordered for the Bulldogs.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to run over to the right side. Now, watch him make that break when he gets across that. Now, get to open field, and Browning just does a tremendous job. You want to take pressure off your quarterback, return the ball out to midfield. Now you're playing short field. Now your play selection is a lot more, not limited, but a lot safer.
One of the few big plays they've gotten out of the kickoff return game. Flag down on the far side, handoff, and on the near side has a handoff goes to Thomas Brown. You know, we asked Mark Richt about some of the concerns in the kicking game, and he says, you know, our kickoff return just hasn't produced anything, but maybe it's because we haven't had a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And he says that's not all bad.
That's no.
Offside on the defense, number 23. Penalty is 5 yards. Replay, first down.
Well, this fall, watch for the Geico College Football Campus Tour, a season-long traveling exhibit celebrating the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Go to jpsports.com for more information and to find out when Geico will be visiting a college campus near you. Out of the eye, and Arkansas jumps off sides again.
You got to be kidding me.
Pierre Brown trying to come in from his middle linebacker position. Was standing basically even with Tereshinski, and 2 penalties now make it a 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs, and Reggie Herring's pretty much says it all.
That's right. What are you doing? You go on movement.
Offsides on the defense, number 27 in the neutral zone with contact. 5-yard penalty. It's also the penalty, first down.
And penalties will kill you. Look at that. The Bulldogs with none. Reggie Herring's team, they've got 5. But you know the thing I was looking at with Tereshinski, he's got a different kind of handoff than what does DJ Shockley. Shockley sticks that ball way out. He extends his arm way out. When Tereshinski hands the ball off to the running back, he's got it within arm's length. In other words, he's just kind of short arming it in there. You've got to make an adjustment in there, and that's why you take reps during practice.
And Georgia takes a timeout. And Mike Bobo, the quarterback's coach here at the University of Georgia, of course a former quarterback for the Bulldogs, talking about how much improvement Shockley's made and how he wished he had him for one more year as a starter. Well, now he's got to focus and lock in on Tereshinski for at least the rest of this game and possibly more, depending on the severity of that injury, as Georgia now commits a false start.
Yeah, Ola Jabutu, what he did is he moved at neutral zone, but he moved at him. Look at him, watch him like kind of move at him right there. And you see Pope just kind of pop up. You see how he pops up there? He knew Ola Jabutu was coming from the outside.
Sam Olajubutu has only 3 tackles today, Dave. He came in averaging about 11 per game. 11.3 to be exact. Exactly. Had 18 tackles last Saturday against Auburn. Had 16 against Alabama. 14 versus Southern Cal. But today Georgia has avoided him, and other guys are making plays in the run game.
Yeah, they are, and it's almost like they're running away from him. But I remember that Alabama game real well. You called his name a ton of times.
Here's Danny Ware. Nearly got free. Out to the 35-yard line. Pierre Brown makes a saving tackle. The senior out of Birmingham, Alabama, who missed a couple of games because of a knee injury, but matched his career high with 15 stops against the Tigers last week.
Boy, and if Brown doesn't make that tackle, he has gone down the sideline. He had a lot of running room. Brown moved well to the ball, quickly slid, just made almost a shoestring tackle.
Listen to these numbers. You see the season numbers for Ware, but Thomas Brown 5 for 18, Danny Ware 4 for 16, Lumpkin 1 for 6. I mean, the run game to this point has been non-existent. Georgia trying to get it cranked up as Ware takes it to the 32. Jamal Anderson with the stop.
Yeah, and huge down right in this situation. You're going to be down, third down, about 4 yards to go. Now, if you're Arkansas, do you bring pressure? If you're Mark Richt, remember that quarterback where he fakes to the fullback and ends up throwing to him? It's been a super play in the same situation. Fake to the fullback, let him run through, dump it to him. High formation, they're in the formation, Dave.
Georgia 3 out of 6 on third downs. On the season, they're 6th in the league, a little over 40%. Tereshinski knew he missed it. Sutherland had a chance to pick up the first down. And looks like Georgia, they're thinking about it.
Yeah, they sure are.
But they will send out Katu, who is almost Mr. Automatic, to try to get the lead back to 10.
Boy, they had to play, Dave. They fake to the fullback, he runs through and just darts out to the flat. I saw that play yesterday several times in that tape and talked to Mark Richt about it. He said it's really been a popular play, and they've gotten great results from it.
This will be from 48 yards out from the right hash into the wind. Snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is even better. Brandon Cantu is putting on a kicking clinic here in 2005. He's hit from 32 and from 48 today. Mr. Automatic. 20-10, Bulldogs lead. Back after a word from your local stations. Our all-tell SEC game of the week shows us Georgia, the 4th-ranked team in America, leads the Arkansas Razorbacks by 10 in the 11th meeting between these two schools. Georgia scoring drive, 4 plays, 16 yards, and the Brandon Cantu, it says 16-yard field goal, but folks, that was from 48. He had about 16 yards on the back end of it if he needed it.
Yes,
That's what it says. The cushion was 16 yards is what that means.
Exactly.
So it's 20-10 Bulldogs. Arkansas needs some good field position to get started. They have, other than a really long run by Darren McFadden, they have struggled a little bit when it's been crunch time.
Yeah, the battle of field position has gone to Georgia. Arkansas does need a return. They need to get the ball out to the 35, 40-yard line. That's operating territory. Then when you pick up 2 or 3 first downs, then you're getting close to field goal range.
So Cantu will kick off into the wind.
Boy, the wind picked up a little bit now. We got that flag flapping out there pretty good.
Darren McFadden back to return. He's averaging about 26 yards per kickoff return, a good number. And this is about 5 yards deep, and he will take a knee. So first down and 10 from the 20-yard line for Robert Johnson, who's gone the distance despite all the quarterback talk this week. He has taken every snap today. And he will throw over the middle. Pass is caught. A nice grab from the tight end, Wes Murphy, the junior out of Cuthbert, Georgia. A gain of 17-yard line, and they're glad to have Wes back. He has missed a lot of time this season.
Boy, this is a difficult catch. Look at that behind his back. He had to go down for it. And Murphy's a big target on 265 pounds. You want to lead him. But, for Robert Johnson, it's a completion. It builds that little bit of confidence. Come right back, do it again. Move the ball. Now you're moving it with passing.
Johnson is 8 out of 9 today for 78 yards. He does have one INT. Here's McFadden. He picks up a first down. A gain of 11. Jarvis Jackson brings him down. Just to give you an update about that, McFadden, Dave, has 614 yards on the ground in his career, or young career. He is chasing Cedric Cobbs, who has 668 yards his freshman year. That's the Arkansas record. Well, you can see some of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I really like his style. I like the way he runs. He lines up his blocker and lets his blocker make the block, and then he breaks off him. You see that average, 7.2 yards, but he lets that blocker make that block, breaks off him, and when he's going to be tackled, he actually accelerates into the tackle.
McFadden with the handoff to midfield. Darren McFadden's per carry average at a little over 7 is actually, Felix Jones on that carry is actually down. He came in averaging 8.9 per carry. And Felix Jones, a young man that's also got an unbelievable future. He's a guy that scored 41 touchdowns as a high school senior, rushed for 2,200 yards out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know, he averages 139 yards of offense per game. That's second best in the SEC, and he also just a true freshman.
I know. They have an incredible tandem of freshmen.
McFadden bounces off a couple of guys and dragged down at midfield by Brandon Miller. Miller with 8 tackles today as he gets a start in the linebacking corps due to the injury to Taylor.
Well, this is a good run, strong side, but watch the tail end. You're not going to stiff arm somebody like Brandon Miller, number 12. Look at that, runs through it. I mean, if you're able to stiff arm Brandon Miller, you're going to go out there and run. But Brandon Miller, we talked about him earlier. You talked about the number of tackles he has, Dave. When he hits you, you're going down.
Miller, 6'4", about 235 pounds, just a sophomore out of Colquitt, Georgia. Here it is, 3rd down and 4. Johnson nowhere to go. He's dropped for a big loss back at the 36-yard line. Charles Johnson will get credit for the sack, his 4th of the year. And for this Bulldog defense, that is number 19 on the season.
Well, I thought he got confused on the play. He's going to come over to the strong side, and watch right here. He wants to go back, but he runs right into the tackle. You can't do that. You got to stay separation. He runs right into the tackle. Poor decision there, but a big play for number 99, Charles Johnson.
Out of Hawkinsville, Georgia. He forces the punt after the 10-yard loss. Thomas Flower stands at his 19-yard line. Jacob Skinner to punt it away. Good high kick. That is a tight spiral down to the 5-yard line. And he is hit and dropped right there by Vakel Vaughn.
Now see what Tereshinski is going to do on those handoffs. I saw him over the sideline. Coaches were talking to him. Extend that arm. Give it out there. And he does.
Thomas Brown gets the handoff. Gets a couple on the play. Freddie Fairchild, a true freshman linebacker for this Arkansas team out of Little Rock, who is just another speedster. Georgia coaches kept telling us one of the things that worried them was the speed that Arkansas possesses. Obviously, great track guys go to Arkansas, and they play football as well. Fairchild, a linebacker, it's been timed at 4.4 in the 40.
That is flat out moving. I ran 5 flat one time, and I think it was wind aided and downhill. Tereshinski doing a good job here. Audibles off. This is an important series. They don't want to get 3 and out.
That play backed up. Jamal Anderson makes the hit on Thomas Brown, and that loses a couple of yards. And Georgia now looking back at close to a 3rd and 11.
Watch 92 get in the backfield. He cuts back inside, and he is standing right in front of Brown when he gets the football. I mean, he is standing right there. There's nowhere to go. That's the way you come off the ball. Get that upfield, get that containment, get into the backfield. Now that will make Reggie Herring more happy.
3rd and 11. Tereshinski going deep. Overthrows Kenneth Harris. It is incomplete, and that brings up a 4th down, and that is a big-time defensive stand by that Arkansas defense.
Absolutely. Arkansas is going to get the ball in great field position. For Georgia, they kind of stumbled a little bit. They were 3 and out. That's the one thing you don't want to do when you've got that ball inside your 10, 15-yard line.
And folks, you see the numbers. It has not been pretty defensively for Arkansas, and today they have stood tall for the most part.
And maybe the tallest on that last series. That is going to really help them. They're going to get great field position, should get it in Georgia's territory.
What a kick.
Wow.
Willie Kelso sends it down to the 30-yard line. Peyton Hillis breaks a couple of tackles. He is hit at the 38. He is still driving his feet, but they will spot him back at the 37. A 54-yard kick into the wind, a 5-yard return. Martrez Miller and DJ Shockley sitting side by side on that Georgia bench. All they can do is watch their defense go to work, and Greg Blue just dropped the interception. Pressure came from Will Thompson, who forced the errant throw from the quarterback, and Greg Blue just dropped it.
And where in the world was he throwing that to? You do not throw a ball when you're going down. You have nothing on it. Look at it just float out there. The only reason they escaped that is because Blue dropped it. He had it in his hands. He was not going to complete that. Sometimes you just got to throw it away. That's the things that Robert Johnson has not done well. Don't try to win the game, but just don't lose it.
Here's McFadden. He's got room. McFadden to the sidelines. The 40 down to the 38-yard line. Ray Gant hustling from his tackle position. Helped bring him down along with Trey Battle.
Boy, McFadden has been good today. Been breaking blocks. He's a step away, and then all of a sudden he just burst on the scene. Nobody was going to catch him. He's a good compact runner. He runs under control. I like the way he breaks back inside. And on this last one, when he took it outside, watch him get that corner. He sets up Blue, and he just runs around him, and look at the yardage he gets. Fortunately for Georgia, they got a safety over there. But I want to tell you something. We're going to be hearing his name for a long time.
Flag down. Play is stopped. But back to McFadden for a second. His numbers today, Dave. 19 carries, 147 yards. We've seen the young man twice. We saw him bust a long run against Alabama.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 61. Penalty is 5 yards. Replays first down.
The last 3 games, he has put on a show.
Wow. Look at that average. Nobody can average 8.8 yards. You just don't do that. And you're talking about 40-some rushes, 43 rushes.
There is one guy.
Uh-oh.
There is one guy that
I knew you would know.
Who used to play in this building right here back in 1980.
It was 30.
Yeah, 34. Herschel Walker.
Exactly. Oh, gosh. We watched him a lot of years.
Felix Jones in that tailback. Johnson throws it out of bounds. This time he took the safe play, and he gets pushed into that Georgia bench. Hope everybody's all right. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, you know, we've talked about it before, but Houston Nutt in a tough week with another good job of getting his team in position to be in this ball game in the fourth quarter. On Sunday, they were down to 6 offensive linemen. They had to move a couple of guys over. And when he came out at halftime, you heard him talking about what we want to do. Robert Johnson is a very talented quarterback, but he still makes some bad decisions. They had that interception earlier, but when they put the ball on the ground with a patchwork offensive line, they've been able to put it together, and they've been able to move the football, and they're very much in this thing.
Absolutely right. Robert Johnson hands it off to McFadden. Oh, he nearly got through. Greg Blue with a great tackle. His 6th of the game, but that may have been his biggest.
Oh, boy, he had it, Dave. If he had just waited for the block to set up. He had a block from the backside coming around the corner, and he doesn't wait for him. See 47 right there? He doesn't wait for 47 to set up that block. Right in here, you'll see it. Now, you've got to set that block up right there, come back underneath. It was open. What he did is he was impatient. He didn't wait for Brandon Kennedy, the fullback, to set it up.
3rd down and 7. It's amazing when McFadden touches the ball, there's a hush over the crowd. He has it again. He needs 7 to the 30. I think he got 7.5. Darius Swain makes the tackle, and I think he might have just got enough of the purple line to make it a 1st down.
Did you see when he got that ball? There was no hole there. He just exploded through it. He saw a little bit of a seam. And you know what? We go back to what George is missing. That inside, those 2 defensive tackles, and Goldston and Anderson and Taylor, their middle linebacker. But McFadden, boy, he's chunking it up there.
McFadden's now led the team the last 5 games in rushing. And he just seems to get better and better with each carry. He gets the handoff again. He's inside the 25, down to the 24-yard line. Arkansas's offense averages 263 yards a game on the ground. That is 1st in the conference, 6th in the country. Georgia's rushing defense coming into today only allowed 91 per game on average. That's 2nd in the league, 8th in the country. But Arkansas is changing all those numbers as the 1st and 10 line presented by Nexium, the purple pill. Although Arkansas did the same thing to Alabama.
Yes.
They did the same thing to Auburn.
Yes. Right now they're doing the same thing to Georgia. Don't change. Just keep on going.
McFadden. Georgia just not wrapping up. Guys
come on now.
Are there, but they're not collapsing on McFadden, who just fell forward to the 22-yard line. And a Bulldog, looks like Trey Battle, slow to get up.
Well, what's happening is Arkansas is coming off in the center of that defense, and they're controlling it right now. They're blowing them back, and they're not. And I don't know who's down there. I couldn't see. That may be Battle down. Is that Trey Battle, Dave?
That's Trey Battle.
Oh, don't want to lose him. He's one of those big hitters in the secondary.
Trey Battle, one of those safeties, not a big guy, but he will challenge you, and he's the one who got credit for the tackle here on McFadden as he just kind of bounces off some red jerseys.
Well, you're right. It looked like maybe he got rolled over onto his own man, might have knocked the wind out of him.
Ron Corson, you see talking to Trey Battle, the director of athletic training here at Georgia. Been a busy man today. McFadden needed to get to the 20-yard line, and he is shy by about a yard or 2. Danny Verdun-Wheeler with his 10th tackle today. The junior from Thompson, Georgia, having a big afternoon.
I have to tell you, I question why they went wide. They've been blowing them off in the center of the line of scrimmage. Just keep on going up in there.
4th down, Dave. What do you do? 4th and 1?
No, there's no choice right here. You've got to go for it. You need some kind of a momentum for your team. As you said earlier.
Arkansas, Dave, is on 4th down. They've gone for it more than any other team in the league. 13 times. This is a huge one. 4th and 1 from the 21.
Give it to Hillis.
Peyton Hillis. Will they spot it at the purple line? It is very close.
Wow,
Darius Swain in the middle amongst other red jerseys in on the stop, and we'll see where the spot is.
You see that foot right there? That foot is marking it. That official's got his foot right down there. Give it to Hillis in this situation. He's got to get almost to the 20. Now watch the ball. Oh, if he stretches, the official comes in. You see him put his foot right down there again. Watch Hillis. He gets the ball. He hesitates just for a second, and he could not stretch for that line any harder than he did.
That's a pretty good mark. I think that's, after looking at that play a couple of times, that's about where I don't think it's a bad spot.
No, not a bad spot. The official had a good view running in. He ran in. He saw the ball. And that's what you're looking at. You're not looking at the man.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
How much?
They're going to give it to him. Georgia player said no.
I was just going to say, wait a minute. I saw light in between that chain.
That might be the closest spot I have ever seen to the first down chain.
I thought I saw light between the ball and the post.
Well, just the front edge of that nose has to hit the end of that chain.
Well, it did. Man, that is the closest. I think you're right. That's about the closest mark I've ever seen. The Georgia guys were all going.
And it's a huge play.
Wow.
1st and 10, and here comes the 10th play of the drive.
Now, do what you've done to get here. Don't get fancy.
That's handed to McFadden off the left side down to the 17-yard line. And McFadden getting a serious workout today. 25 carries, 174 yards on the day.
I can tell you the play I would like to see. I'd love to see that Parker play come on that lead where he does that trap.
Georgia's defense in the red zone, Dave, is coming into this game. They weren't exactly the best in terms of stopping people in the red zone. Matter of fact, they were last. But the good news to that is they've let the opponent in the red zone the fewest number of times all season long. Right now, Arkansas knocking on the door. We have played 3 quarters. It's Georgia 20, Arkansas 10. It's homecoming, the 84th edition. It's been a good one in Athens. Stay with us. 15 more minutes of football is on the way. E.J. Shockley looking on, talking to his center, Russ Tanner. Tereshinski trying to stay loose. The Bulldogs are in a battle on homecoming. The 4th-ranked team in the country getting all they want from Arkansas. Johnson under pressure, batted in the air. It falls incomplete. Hit by Brandon Miller, who knocked it up in the air. And that's Brandon still down for the Dogs. Johnson also slow to get up.
Johnson may have his leg underneath Brandon Miller.
Yeah, it's probably exactly. He's trying to be careful not to. Miller apparently in some serious pain.
Well, Miller was right in his face. Watch 12. He's on a blitz. Nobody touches him. He pops it, and when he comes down, you see how, oh, he got his leg rolled up on. His own man rolled up on top of him, I think.
Darius Swain.
Yeah, that was Swain. Watch, he's going to roll up on him. Watch when Miller comes down. You see how he rolls up on his leg? Ouch. And then you see that Johnson had his leg underneath Miller. That's why it took
Darius Swain goes 6'2", 330, and
ouch. That's got to hurt falling on you.
I mean, you're talking about another linebacker, another defensive player that is now apparently in some serious pain right now. Golston, Anderson, the 2 starting defensive tackles are out. Tony Taylor, the starting middle linebacker, is out. Now you got Brandon Miller, who was inserted into one of the outside backer spots as Jarvis Jackson slid into the middle for Taylor. And Brandon Miller at 6'4", 240 pounds out of Colquitt, Georgia. Gets a nice hand from the home folks. Take a look at our McDonald's statistics through 3 quarters. And Dave, look at the time of possession. And it all starts the first quarter. They dominated in the first quarter with time of possession. They did it again with almost 15 minutes or 16 minutes of Arkansas with time of possession in the 3rd quarter.
And Houston Nutt, you see him up there, Dave? He must have ran 30 yards downfield, telling the official he wanted a timeout.
You're looking at 85 right here. Marcus Monk, one of the best, one of the biggest.
Absolutely, my friend. I want to go to him. If I'm the Johnson, I'm looking at him going into that end zone fade, and he goes up high. He's a big-time player. Throw it to him.
But no catches today by any Arkansas wide receiver. McFadden, he's going to throw it. Lofts it up in the end zone. Looking for Monk. Batted around. Incomplete. Trey Battle with the pass broken up in the end zone. Brings up a 4th down.
This is a run pass. You toss it to the back. He's got to give ground. See how he's giving ground deep? Now you throw it up, and Monk went up for this thing. He actually got a hand on it. But how about Georgia? They knew he was coming. Look at the coverage. But Monk goes up and gets a hand on it. I mean, and great defensive play right there. Did you see Battle come in and knock that ball away?
35-yard field goal from Chris Balsero. He's connected from 33. And this one is good. It is a 7-point contest. The experts thought this would be close to a 20-point game. Arkansas says no, no, no.
There you take a look at Brandon Miller, the Sam linebacker. He got that ankle rolled up on. One of those injuries, Dave Neal, that fortunately looked worse than maybe it is. He's getting the shoe back on, got a tape job, and looks like he's going to try to give it a go. The Bulldogs are definitely going to need him.
They definitely need all the healthy bodies they can get. Even some of their coaches are getting banged up. Short kick. Taken at the 25-yard line by Thomas Brown, and he takes that over the 30 to the 32-yard line before he's pushed back. As the players exchange phone numbers down on the field, we'll look at our Safe Auto successful drive, 13 plays. I mean, they have had some long drives today. 4:57 off the clock. Balsero's 35-yard field goal. And that successful drive means another $500 to the SEC's education initiative, courtesy of Safe Auto Insurance Company. Call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO, and you too can be a successful driver. First down and 10 for the Dogs at the 32. Greg Lumpkin in at tailback for Georgia. He stands to the right side of Tereshinski. Pass is picked off at the 35. Michael Grant. Intended for Muhammad Massaquoi, and he just dropped it, and it went right into the hands of Grant.
Grant on that one-on-one coverage, he was close. And when Massaquoi fumbled the ball, he bopped it up. Watch the ball come up. Right there, he doesn't catch it clean. See, he pops it up, and Grant is right there to snatch it. Again, out to your right, when he bops the ball up right there. Look how quickly Grant is right there.
And Dave, an interesting story about Michael Grant, a young man that committed to Georgia out of high school in 2004, but was not let into the school. Admissions said denied him admissions here, and Mark Rick said, you know, they won't let you in for some issues that happened after high school in Arkansas. He found a home at Arkansas because of their track team, and now he comes back home and he makes a huge play. Here's McFadden to the 30, and he's out of bounds.
Dave, right away you start to think, does Arkansas need a touchdown right here? There's a lot of time. You've got to get points off this. That's what's more important. This again, watch this. I love the part that McFadden does here. He kind of, McFadden points. Look, see him pointing right there, putting his head down. He is a tough customer to bring down. He lowers that shoulder on that defensive back, and he's not going to let you get those arms around him.
Second down and 3 after the 7-yard gain. McFadden again through that line of scrimmage, dragged down by the ankles by Jarvis Jackson, the junior out of Atlanta, Georgia, and that'll bring up a third down and about give him a yard and a half. But McFadden today has been the story.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Look at that. That is an incredible amount.
Now, I will say this. Felix Jones has 27 yards on the ground, but Robert Johnson has lost 28. That's where the discrepancy comes in, but that certainly is an interesting looking statistic.
Oh, yeah. And don't do anything fancy. You see Willis right there? I should say Hillis right there. Follow him. Let him be that lead blocker.
Oh, no. In Arkansas, the tight end, Jared Hicks, backs up in his stance.
You cannot have those things happen. Look at Houston Nutt.
That is the 7th penalty against Arkansas today.
And Dave, it's third down and 2.
Ball start on the offense, number 86. Penalty's 5 yards.
Third down and 2. You can't do that. Boy, you wouldn't want to stand next to him if you jumped off sides. Houston Nutt's a great motivator, but that just changes the whole complexion. You are going to have almost a sure first down. Now you've got to throw the ball.
Well, I think at this point they are in 2 down.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you on that. But when you get a turnover, you have got to get points.
It happened last week, Dave. They couldn't convert on some early turnovers against Auburn. Here's McFadden still driving. He's to the 28, but that brings up a 4th and 4.
And you know what? If I'm Georgia, I'm happy to give up 3 or 4 yards. Just keep it on the ground. The pass is what's going to get the first down. Now, decision time.
Boy, it is a big decision. Arkansas has already used a timeout. So has Georgia. And they will send out the field goal unit. Willie Martinez's defense steps up, forces the field goal.
Well, you got to come away with points. You want to make sure you come away with points.
And here's the story on Balsero. He has 2 field goals of 42 yards. It's a career long. This is from 45. It's a low line drive that is wide left. The Hawks had a chance. Balsero, the senior out of Miami, has been pretty solid all year. He just missed it to the left.
Again, you want to come away with points. They come away with none. You get a ball in great field position like Arkansas does, you cannot come away without points. Boy, that 3rd down penalty was huge. I mean, that just changed the whole complexion of that series. And for Georgia, if you're Mark Richt, you're saying, thank you for jumping off sides.
I mean, Georgia's had about, I'm guessing, 8-9 yards of offense since halftime. Here's a little reverse. It goes to Sean Bailey. Tripped up at the 34-yard line. And that was an excellent tackle by Sam Elajabutu, the junior out of LaGrange, Georgia.
Watch him duck underneath right there. You see how quickly he ducked under a block? Elajabutu gets out there. I love his play. I want to tell you something. That man, he may only be 5'9", but he's got about a 3-foot heart.
Mark Richt said pound for pound, he may be the best football player they see all year.
Yeah, and that's the opposing coach saying it. Mark Richt, you're right.
Good blocking at the line of scrimmage. Here goes Thomas Brown. A flag is down, but it may not have been good blocking downfield.
You know what? I looked at number 1, Massaquoi, at that time, and I think he may have been holding downfield. He was trying to get a block. That may be where they called it.
Well, that's Georgia's.
On the offense, number 1, penalty is 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay 2nd down.
That's just the 2nd penalty against Georgia today.
Yeah, watch number 1, Massaquoi, get right there. You see him right there? That's holding. See how he's got him locked in there? He's got Michael Coe in there. Official in good position to make that. Just a freshman mistake.
So it'll be 2nd down and 6. As the penalty is marked off from the spot of the foul. Tereshinski has a nice pocket, spins to the 32-yard line, and Elajabutu brings him down for his 5th stop today.
Boy, Elajabutu stays with the play. Look at this. He's out of the play. He's getting blocked, but watch him hustle back in here. When he spins back inside, that's how you play football. Everybody will tell you you play at 1 speed, full speed. If you need a rest, you wave your hand to come over to the sideline. That's the way you play.
3rd down and 6 now. Look at the Bulldogs offense in the second half, only 19 yards. Tereshinski has some running room. He's going to break a tackle and get very close to the purple line.
Wow. What a heads-up play. You have to have that clock in your head. When you have to bail out of that pocket, you have to bail out of that pocket. I thought Sims 23 had him one time. See 23 right there? He has him right there. You can't let go. You got to hold on. Oh, where was his knee down? Look at there. There's the marker, Dave.
The crowd's going to be angry about the call, but actually you look at his knee and where the football is, that's an excellent spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be 4th and very short. And I mean, do you take the chance here?
I don't think so. I think you run some time if you can off the clock, but I think you punt the football.
Yeah, Tereshinski's going to talk to Terry Brown and call a timeout. Georgia will talk about it. But I think with especially with Ely Kelso, who's got a great leg and had some great punch today. You pin Arkansas back and you make him go the distance.
Absolutely.
We will see what the coach says when we come back. On 4th down and very, very short, Mark Richt is going to send out Gordon Ely Kelso, the junior from right here in Athens, Georgia, who has had a nice afternoon punting the football today, averaging 49 per kick. Actually, both punters have been great. Jacob Skinner, 8.2 for Arkansas. Good snap. Low kick, very returnable by Peyton Hillis. He lost the football. Georgia's got it at the 17-yard line. The second time today, Peyton Hillis has bobbled a punt. Mike Gilliam, the senior, comes up with the fumble recovery on the 50-yard kick.
Have you ever heard the story about looking to run before you look the ball in? There it is. Golly, of all the mistakes. But what a heads-up play by Georgia in the coverage. He just swoops that ball out. You can't look down to see first. See his head kind of come down, then the ball bounces over him. Then, oh. Boy, what coverage, Dave. You talk about a 50-yard punt, and he was right there.
A line drive punt. That's good coverage by the Gunners of Georgia. And Mike Gilliam, for his hard work, rewarded with the fumble recovery. And a flag comes down at the 10. Muhammad Massaquoi might have been held by Michael Grant.
Absolutely. I think that was holding on Massaquoi. That was Michael Grant when he came off the ball. Now, if you're Georgia, you've got to capitalize.
Look at that Georgia offense in the red zone today. Of course, the red zone look powered by Honda Generators, the ultimate tailgating experience. Georgia 2 touchdowns and 3 opportunities. That's the 8th Arkansas penalty today. And they have been at, I would say of those 8, 7 have been more costly than not.
Dave, you get in a situation like that. You got Danny Ware who just ran in there. I know they're sophomores. You got Brown. Just run that ball. Just power that ball in. Don't do anything fancy.
Dave, it's been a tough test to run the football for Georgia today. You look at their rushing yards. They have 22 carries for 51 yards. This is a team that came in averaging 190 a game, second only to Arkansas in the league.
Well, this is where you say those offensive linemen in that huddle, buckle your chin straps, boys. This is Dave Rowe's favorite part of the game.
Tereshinski pump fakes, brings it down, and he will be swarmed by white jerseys. They will mark him back at the 16-yard line, despite the fact he's at the 24 right now. Freddie Fairchild led the charge. He'll get credit for the sack, his second of the year.
He wanted to go to Bailey down here in the bottom. You see Bailey coming off right there, and Bailey stumbled coming off the ball, and he didn't get that breakaway. That was going to be the fade. And for Houston Nutt, he turns around and says, okay, defense, get it back.
4th sack of the day by the Arkansas defense.
Yeah, when Bailey came off that line, the wide out, he just kind of slipped and stumbled a little bit, and he wasn't open. Now, do you come right back at him again?
A handoff goes to Danny Ware.
Wow.
He gets nothing. And how about the push by the front 4 of Arkansas? Keith Jackson, the junior out of Little Rock, his daddy doing the color on the radio for Arkansas, sitting next to us. Has to be a proud papa today. Keith having a big game.
Absolutely. Come off the ball, get that penetration in the backfield. You see him crowding up in the line right now. They're not fearing the pass by Tereshinski. There you see Keith Jackson, big 99. Look at that, Dave. Golly. 41 yards.
Yeah, that's a shocking number when you think of the talent of the offensive line and the talent at the running back position. But this Arkansas defense has been really stout since opening the game. Here's a chance, Thomas Brown. He's got room to the 10, but a nice tackle on the corner by Randy Kelly from his safety position.
Boy, what a tackle by Kelly. You talk about open field. You've got to back down. You've got to get in that little stance. Stay low. Don't take the fact. Watch the little juke right here. He doesn't take the juke. He stays down in there, and Kelly made a huge tackle.
And that forces the field goal attempt from Brandon Coutu. He's hit from 32. He's hit from 48. This will be from 27 yards.
Little angle here on that right hash.
His kick is up and good. A sophomore out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Keeps it manageable, but it's still a two-possession game. Georgia leads at 23-13 here in the fourth. Georgia leads at 23-13 here in the fourth quarter, and the announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. A gorgeous day for football on homecoming. The 84th edition of homecoming, dating back to 1922 here in Athens. Coutu with a high kickoff down the right side. That may sail out of bounds.
That did. Sure did.
It just kept going and going. And it's a good break for Arkansas. They'll get it at the 35. Look at our Hummer scoreboard. Ole Miss with an early 7-0 lead over Kentucky as they play now into the second. Houston and Mississippi State tied at 6. Michigan and Iowa going to overtime. And how about Northwestern putting it on Michigan State?
Man.
Ohio State by 31. And Clemson. Notre Dame off the USC game a week ago. Trails by 3 to BYU at home. Here, Georgia's had a real battle on their hands with this Arkansas team. McFadden looking for some daylight. Picks up a couple on the play. Not much happening. Greg Blue will get credit for the tackle. Blue with 7 stops today. The senior out of College Park, Georgia. Came into the game leading the club with 51. McFadden leading his team in rushing. 185 yards on the day for the youngster.
And you know what? McFadden looks tired. He's carried the ball a lot of times.
They have 28 carries.
Yeah, that's a lot of carries for a young freshman. And they just changed and brought in Felix Jones. He's fresh.
Pass batted and nearly picked off. Charles Johnson had his hands on the football. But Ray Gant, the man in the middle who batted it in the air, the junior out of Chapel Hill, South Carolina.
Boy, that ball just went straight up. I thought for sure it was an interception. Again, maybe we see who taps it right there. Is that yeah, it's 90. That's Ray Gant who taps it. And then 99, Charles Johnson almost. I mean, they'd have been off to the races.
We would say Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Right.
I think I said South Carolina. If I did, I apologize to his family and friends back in Chapel Hill. Little screen.
Oh, good screen.
Plenty of room for Felix Jones. He's got some blockers. He bounces around into Georgia territory at the 43. Danny Verdun Wheeler with his 12th stop this afternoon. Brings him down after an 18-yard pickup.
What you do is right there. You see him slide out now. What you have to do is wait for these blockers. Wait for these blockers. He's on a run. No problem. Now, wait for him. Be patient. Don't run up his back. Now, if you don't run up his back, you can cut back inside. He runs right up the back of his blockers. A little impatient. But a great call. That screen really opened up well.
Jones again. He turns the corner. He's to the 20. Down to the 10. Brought down at the 7-yard line by Tim Jennings. A gain of 31.
He's fresh, Dave. You bring him in. We talked about McFadden being tired. You bring in Felix Jones. And I want to tell you something. He planted Greg Blue, 17. Planted him right in there. He just planted him down. Cuts back inside. Great run by Felix Jones. But he ran around the big hitter, Greg Blue, for Georgia.
First and goal from the 6. Handoff to McFadden, but flags come down, and Georgia may have jumped across the line of scrimmage. Ray Gant might have gotten a head start.
I thought I saw Georgia coming low underneath there trying to get that penetration. We'll have to wait to hear it. Let's see if we can see him jump, right? Oh, yeah, there it is right there. That's easy enough.
Will Thompson, not Ray Gant. My apologies to Gant, who was in on the tackle.
Offsides on the defense, number 58. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
So that'll make it 1st and goal now from the 3 as you look at the red zone today for Arkansas. They've got 2 field goals, but they need more than that now with 5:57, 5:56 to go. And that red zone look powered by Honda Generators for the ultimate tailgating experience.
Dave, there's the key right there. Follow 22. That's Hillis.
McFadden gets the toss sweep to the wide side. Stiff arms. And a flag comes down.
Wasn't that a face? Yeah, I thought that was a face mask in there. Boy, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a hold. George is all saying hold, but I thought it was a face mask on the tackle. I'm surprised at this. Might have been blue. Let's see.
Maybe
yeah, there it is.
How about they both had some face mask apparently.
Yeah. Look,
there's
right.
one.
Yeah, there's one, but that's a stiff arm.
Yeah, but you can't grab his face mask. Hard to see exactly what blue had.
Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Dave, I'm going to say this, Buzz. First of all, let's check him. But what do you have, Buzz?
It happened right in front of me. What happened was Greg Blue was saying he grabbed that collar in the front of the shoulder pads rather than the face mask. Not only did they call it a face mask, though, but they called it a flagrant, so it's an automatic first. And most importantly, Arkansas gets 4 fresh downs.
Tell you something, that was a stiff arm by McFadden, Dave, but you can't just grab a guy's face mask.
Absolutely, you cannot grab it. I didn't see the grab. What I saw was a stiff arm up in the face, but you're right. But you know what? They call it on the defense.
So 1st and goal from the 1. McFadden. He stopped just shy.
Now
this is getting a little testy down along the goal line.
This is ball security. You see the way McFadden ran in there, both arms wrapped around that ball. The one thing you cannot do, I don't care if you're a freshman or a senior, is fumble in this situation. You've got that power I formation, just follow that block. Big man on big man, and don't you know the Georgia fellas up front, they know it. Look at Moses getting down there. There's Blue, he's the big hitter.
2nd and goal, toss sweep McFadden, wide side of the field. Touchdown Arkansas, and the true freshman is having a career day. Albeit a young career, this is a day he will remember for a long time.
Speed kills. Look at this, good block out front. That's Kennedy with the good block, and he just runs in the corner. Protect that ball, throw it away, and you're right. He's talking some junk too. Hey, I'll be right back.
Darren McFadden out of Little Rock, Arkansas, with a 2nd rushing touchdown today, his 8th on the year. Point after is good. 4:53 to go. It's a 3-point game in Athens. Arkansas has made it a 3-point game with just under 5 minutes to play. And one of the big stories today has been DJ Shockley. He led Georgia on their first drive all the way down the field, Dave Rowe, and looked sharp doing it. 3 out of 4 on that opening drive for 35 yards and a touchdown. And then bad news occurred.
Yes, when he went down, he twisted that knee. You saw he got tackled, clean tackle. He twisted that knee. Came off the field. I knew he was in pain. You could see him when he was leaning back. He was in pain, went to the locker room. They checked it. As a precaution, they're not going to allow him to play in the second half. But he is the catalyst of this offense. Since he left, Georgia has not done anything on offense. They have not been able. Now, you want to credit Arkansas, but Georgia just has not been able to move the ball at all.
Look at that last scoring drive, 65 yards. A couple of big plays by Felix Jones off a screen pass. Then he took a handoff and went around the corner and picked up 31. And McFadden capped it off with a 1-yard touchdown run.
Important series here for Georgia. You can't go 3 and out, put the pressure back on your defense. I don't care how good you think they are.
Line drive kick. That hits Browning right in the face mask. He picks it up out to the 25-yard line. So you're right, Dave Rowe. This is a big possession for this offense. And, you know, I don't think Mark Richt's asking for any miracles. He's just saying, I need a couple of first downs.
Exactly. That's what you tell a young quarterback, a quarterback who hasn't gotten a lot of time.
Buzz, what do you got?
Hey, Dave, here's the thing, and Dave Rowe knows this. Guys got to believe in their leader. And this Georgia offense's second half, they've been looking around for the guy with the S on his chest. Tereshinski's back there, but this is his chance to prove he can be a leader of this team as well.
And I think you're exactly right, Buzz. He's got to do something.
Tereshinski throwing on first down. He hits a tight end who has been a weapon all year, Leonard Pope. Leonard Pope today with his third catch. Elijah Budu brings him down.
Well, he's an easy man to find, is Leonard Pope, 6'7". And that's what I talk about when you want to spark. Hey, you don't say, we're just going to hand it off again. We're going to hand it off again. Let your quarterback go back there and throw.
And he also got a good block in there from his running back, Thomas Brown, to give him that extra beat.
Absolutely. Boy, Brown came up, and I mean, he picked up a backer on that blitz. You see Arkansas darting up in the line. They're bringing a lot of pressure. See him?
Handoff left side away from that linebacker pressure, and they'll pick up the first down. Keith Jackson makes the tackle, but that's a first down for the Dogs. And trying to look and see how many first downs they've had here in the second half. We know it hasn't been many.
No.
A total of 5 here in the second half.
Dave, I think they made about half the yardage they have in this second half on that last drive. They just have not been able to move the ball. Good play selection. Now, keep it going. You like nothing better than about a 4-minute and 15-second drive if you're a Georgia fan.
If you think about timeouts, Arkansas has 2, Georgia 1. Here's the fullback, Brandon Sutherland. He gets out of bounds, however. He picks up about 5 on the play to the 42.5-yard line, 42-yard line. Freddie Fairchild with the tackle, but that stops the clock and brings up second down.
Yeah, the only thing that Sutherland did wrong was go out of bounds, but the redshirt freshman, I was talking to Mark Richt about number 36, Sutherland. He said, I love to fake the ball to him, let him run through, clear out. He said, I also love that lead block that Sutherland does. He puts him on the ground.
Yeah, he had 10 knockdown blocks against Tennessee.
Yeah, he said he called them decleaters. I love that term. That's when you can see the bottom of their shoes.
That handoff goes to Brown off the left side. Out over the 45. Keith Jackson with the tackle. And that'll bring up a third down and 1, maybe 1.5.
This is the game right here. It's the game for both sides. If you're Arkansas, you creep up there. You put 8 in the box. You don't think they're going to pass it. Now, does Georgia pull it out? Has Tereshinski got enough? Has he got enough confidence to pull it out and find maybe a Leonard Pope?
I don't know. I might stay on the ground with this. I don't know.
Well, you see that blocker right there? That's number 36. Follow him.
You see the purple line. That's where they got to get to. They will keep it on the ground. Arkansas strings it out, and they lose a couple of yards.
Oh, what a play. I'll tell you what
Freddie Fairchild comes flying in. The true freshman from Little Rock makes a big-time play.
Dave, he never turned it up. He came sideways to the sideline. You've got to turn it up. And the east-west runner, look at Houston Nutt. You've got to turn that up. It was third down and 1. Wow.
Pierre Brown in there as well with Fairchild, those 2 linebackers. And Elijah Budu, they just bring a lot of speed. You're not going to stretch Arkansas out to the wide side of the field. You're just not going to do it with their great speed. And coaches told us that.
Absolutely. That's what he called east-west running. You love to see him run east and west because that's from sideline to sideline.
Ely Kelso gets it away. This time Hillis lets it bounce, and he's had a couple of bad breaks.
What a kick.
And that rolls to the 6-yard line. Ely Kelso and the special teams doing their part today, but now here you go, 2-18 with a couple of timeouts, and you've got to go 94 yards.
Well, you got it right there. Look at the yards that they have between them. Jones is fresh. He only has the 10 carries. McFadden, he's got the heart. He's got 31 carries. Now, can they do it now? If you're Georgia, can you get this crowd behind you? Can you stand up on defense one time? You look around that huddle.
But can you afford to run it right here?
I think you can afford to run a little bit, but think of those guys that are missing out of that Georgia middle. We talked about them several times. Golston, Anderson, and Taylor.
Flag down. Johnson thrown out of his end zone, but a whistle.
Oh, now what's the flag?
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 22. Phil has half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
Georgia trying to stay in the national championship hunt and also keep their winning streak alive, which is tied with Texas Tech for third best in the country.
Boy, David, you're down in that end zone. There's a lot of noise.
Marcus Monk. You know the sophomore wants to be a big play guy and be a part of today's action, but they've only thrown it to him a couple of times, Dave.
You've got to catch that. You can't drop that. They hit him right between the 8 and the 5. Now, what I'd do if I was the quarterback, I'd go right back to him. He dropped one. See if Houston Nutt says, you say, hey, we'll go right back to you. He's got a lot of confidence in his
second, 13.
Monk is split right down there.
Nearly a sack. Johnson goes flying into the end zone hedges. And he threw it at the feet of Peyton Hillis. Well, that just did not look good from the get-go.
But how about Georgia? Look at the push that they got up front. And I think it was Quentin Moses. We haven't talked a lot about him, but he's a player that plays full-time, number 94. He comes after you. Every play for him is full speed. Got a great pocket breakdown. Just broke that pocket up. I know what I'd do in this situation, Dave. I'd go right back. I'm going to Marcus Monk. He's your homer. He's just missed one. Let him make up for it. Don't think that Georgia doesn't know that.
This has been very confusing. I've been watching what's been going on. The trainers and the managers have been running it on and off the field the last 25 seconds. I think both teams thought somebody called a timeout, and they're still confused now. Willie Martinez wants a timeout, the defensive coordinator. Now they just signaled a timeout right this second. I mean, that was bizarre.
It was. I saw you looking out there.
2:02 to go in the fourth quarter. Third down on the way.
Dave Neal, all this confusion down on the field just a second ago happened because they didn't have the right personnel on the field, and Georgia had to burn a timeout.
That is the last timeout for the Bulldogs, and you can hear the noise. Well, I think the crowd will tell you what happens here on 3rd and 13.
Top of your screen is 85.
Felix Jones out to the 14-yard line. That'll bring up a fourth down.
Clock doesn't stop.
Tim Jennings with the stop. That is 8 tackles for him. 2 timeouts for Arkansas. And they will use one right there to stop the clock with 1:50 to go on a 4th down and 3.
And you see Mark Richt looking up at the clock saying, hey, wait a minute. I think he looked at see what the timeout situation was.
After the timeout, I tell you, Dave, I go back to the same question asked earlier. Do you keep it on the ground with your success, or do you try to go through it, get it by way of the air?
I think you have to go to the air because you need 3 yards. That's a lot to ask for a running back in this situation.
They will throw it on 4th down over the middle to Monk.
Yes.
His first catch of the game. And it brings up a 1st and 10, but still a long way to go. 80 yards in 1:42.
All right, Dave, you're going to see on right-hand side, you're going to see him come out. Watch right here. There he is. Just sneaking right back in there. Throws right perfect ball to him. That got the first down. Now, chains move. You stop the clock.
Johnson runs out of bounds. But Donnell Ellerby runs him out of bounds.
Now for Georgia, that's a good move. You run them out of bounds, it takes a little bit more time. If you're Robert Johnson, you stand back there. If they're not open, throw the ball. Just throw the ball. An incomplete. I don't care where you throw it, it stops the clock.
Well, Georgia wants the clock to tick with 1:29. And
Dave, Georgia's gone into a 3-deep defense. They've got 3 men off the line of scrimmage, about 15, 18 yards. It's a 3-deep zone. They don't want to get beaten deep.
Well, they need to pick up 59 yards, Arkansas does, to make it a 42-yard field goal. Johnson under pressure. Now they got to go a lot further than that. Will Thompson is third this.
Boy, and Thompson just barreled around the outside to get that sack, Dave.
Arkansas takes a timeout. That'll be their final timeout. And they're looking at a 3rd and 23.
Boy, just I'll tell you right now, Thompson was not going to be denied. 58, just put down that shoulder. It's called a bull rush, and you just rush underneath there, rip up through that tackle, put that shoulder down, and hope the quarterback doesn't step up.
Ole Miss by 10 on our Hummer scoreboard. That game now at halftime. Mississippi State and Houston tied at 13. Just underway, Tennessee and Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Dave, the one thing that Georgia does not want to have happen here is a defensive penalty, a holding call, something along that line that will give them a first down and give them yardage. They just want to let them complete it short, let the clock continue to run, bring up 4th down.
Houston Nutt, the guy has been under some stress this year. He has never started an SEC season 0-4 in league play. They're facing that task right now, and with 1:22 to go, they're looking at a 3rd and 23. Johnson.
You're not going to run it, you got to throw it.
He's trying to buy time. He's got a lot of room over here on the near side.
Set up and throw it.
Now he's looking over the middle, looking for Monk. That play.
Oh, and a penalty.
And a flag comes in at the 26. There are actually 2 flags down on the field.
I wonder if there was a lineman downfield. The line of scrimmage was the 10-yard line, and I saw one of the offensive linemen probably at about the 15, 16-yard line.
Yeah, that play just took way too much time, and it appears that he was past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think it was 61 Felton who was going downfield.
I think that's what both flags are. One's probably across the line of scrimmage, the other illegal receiver downfield.
Boy, and that's tough for an offensive lineman. Your quarterback starts to run, and you want to get downfield and get in front of him. I think I saw 61 say, me? But what I wanted Robert Johnson to do in that situation, what I would have thought is square up. He had a lot of time, sit downfield, get your shoulder square, and make a second pocket. He had blockers out in front of him.
There's 2 flags on the play. The first flag is for ineligible receiver downfield. The second flag is for illegal forward pass against the offense number 18. Therefore, by rule, we do not have ineligible receivers downfield because the ball did cross the line of scrimmage. So the ineligible receiver downfield is not a foul, although we will penalize the illegal forward pass from the spot of the foul. Half the distance to the goal, loss of down also, 4th down.
Thank you, Terry Brown. I got to say that might have been the longest explanation I've ever heard, but well said.
I think it was a great explanation. I mean, I really commend him for that.
Absolutely.
That was
great. Bobby Gaston, supervisor official, always wants his referees to explain situations, and great job by Terry, but
it really was.
It's going to be hard to explain 4th and 26 to either one of these clubs right now.
Plant and throw.
Going up top, looking for Monk. Batted around, and it is incomplete at midfield. Tim Jennings on the coverage, but that will do it. With 55 seconds to go, Georgia takes over at the 6-yard line. And boy, have they dodged one today. Arkansas came in here ready to play.
Look at the number of red shirts in the pile. Go up high, don't try to catch it, try to knock it down. Again, good movement by Johnson on that, but let's see how you're running in there. You just try and don't knock it up, knock it down. Georgia, well coached, does a good job at that.
Greg Blue, the senior, had his hands full with Robert Johnson's offense today. This Arkansas offense racked up 216 yards on the ground. Georgia only manages 56 yards. Total yards today. Total offense today, 332 for Arkansas, 221 for the Dogs. You know, this is Houston Nutt is going to be frustrated, but he came in here on the road to the 4th-ranked team in America and really laid it on the line again, just like they did 2 weeks ago against Alabama.
Absolutely. They played their heart out, and you hate to see this. This is a nice gesture right here by Mark Richt and his coaching staff to kneel down, run out the clock. But boy, this game goes down to, you hate one play, but that 3rd down penalty when they jumped off sides on the 25-yard line, that really hurt Arkansas.
Mark Richt and the Dogs go to 7-0 on the year. Mark Richt goes to 4-0 against Houston Nutt. But now the question becomes for the Georgia Bulldogs, who do we have to play quarterback? How bad is DJ Shockley? How bad is Martrez Milner? How bad is the injury to Brandon Miller? How quickly can Gerald Anderson and Tony Taylor and Kedrick Golston get back into the fray? So much to answer. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Mark Richt, Houston Nutt just came by and said real football game. I think that sums it up pretty well.
Oh, it was. You know, you got to give Arkansas a lot of credit. They played great. Our defense hung in there, probably played 45 minutes of the game. And offensively, we got to find a way to move that ball a little bit better than we did, or we're going to find ourselves in a lot of trouble. But real proud of guys like Greg Blue and all that defense. And then, of course, Brandon Coutu did a fantastic job of making every field goal today.
Absolutely. We talked in our meeting, and you said this was a game that worried you. A lot of times when people say that, especially in the media, they think that's just coach speak, but you knew it was a tough spot.
Well, I said they were fast. They were fast. I said they were tough. They were tough. And I knew we were in for a battle, and I'm just proud that we come out here with a victory, and we're going to find out how wounded we are and find out who's left and get ready for Florida.
Offensively, I guess that's the first order of business, finding out just what the status is at DJ and where you go with the game plan from there.
Right. I'm not sure what the deal is yet. We'll find out. I know Martrez Milner had some problems too, and
right shoulder, yep.
We got some other guys banged up, so we'll find out what's going on, and hopefully we'll get some defensive line help too.
All right, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Let's bring in Greg Blue. He's a guy back there. Coach Martinez told us yesterday you'd rather go for the hit than the ball, but you guys laid some hits out today, and you needed them in every minute of this ball game.
Well, yeah, we need them, man, because Arkansas, man, they're a great team, man. They ran the ball hard today. You know, they're a great team, man.
Thomas Davis, your buddy, was here today. You guys go back and forth a little bit about who the big hitter is, but you guys were out there for an awful lot of snaps. Talk about the energy you had to expend on defense.
You know, we had to spend a lot of energy because we already know Arkansas, you know, they go to run the ball. You know, they number 3 in the nation in rushing, and, you know, we had to get a lot of energy up for that right there, and that was a tough challenge for us right there.
You're a guy that's played against the best in the country. You're one of the best in the country. What about the freshman Darren McFadden, the way he came in here and ran the ball for Arkansas?
Man, you know, he's a great athlete, man. You know, a couple more years, he may be up for the Heisman, man. You know, he ran the ball real good today, man. You know, I like him.
Greg, congratulations. Best of luck to you. Get some rest now. Good luck against Florida next week. That's Greg Blue as his Georgia Bulldogs have escaped with a 23-20 win over Arkansas, Dave.
Greg Blue has seen some great running backs, Buzz, and high praise for McFadden. But the story today was some of the excellent kicking we saw here in Athens. Brandon Coutu and Chris Balsero did their part for their respective clubs.